Well, welcome, ladies and gents. First stream after the Christmas period. I hope we're all right. We've got a fantastic show today. We are, of course, going to be talking about Avatar: The Way of Water crossing $1.1 billion global through Wednesday. Very interesting. We've got loads of Marvel stuff. Basically, sort of desperation of 5 and 6 and things to come. Just a whole host of elements to do with Marvel. We're also going to be taking a look at 2023's box office films or just general movies releasing and what we think about and what we like them. So that is on today's stream. I am joined by Nick from Echo Base Network and also Tom from Midnight's Edge After Dark. You'll find links to their channels down below in the description box. How are we doing?
Doing good.
Brilliant.
Doing good. Hanging in
I got
there.
a hell of a Christmas gift. A friend of mine, a very good friend of mine. No, it wasn't a midget, but it is a Shankara stone. So the first thing I'm going to do is rip motherfucker's heart out.
Kalima.
Shakti.
You got to give it some oomph there, Tom.
That's right.
Kalima
Shakti.
I actually one of our channel members actually sent me carded Clay 2 on a Return of the Jedi card signed by the actor who played the character.
I saw that. Didn't someone also send you? Was it like a comic or something like that with Mark Hamill's signature as well?
Coach got that. I got the Clay 2 carded figure signed by the actor, and then I got a complete Jabba the Hutt playset, which was the very last thing that my parents ever took me to the store to buy before they stopped selling Star Wars toys back in the mid-'80s.
That's awesome. So I did a Christmas stream on the Friday where I sort of had a few drinks and stuff, and I got some awesome things come through. Some sort of funny, some good ones, some lots of t-shirts. So I'm happy about that. Always love a good t-shirt. So yeah, it's been good. Obviously, we spoke before the stream. You weren't very well over Christmas, were you, Nick? So that's not very good. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I'm still not 100%, but I'm here today. I'm pushing through. Pushing
on through. And Tom, how was your Christmas, buddy?
Not too bad. Mostly quiet. Got to spend it with the family mostly, so that was fun.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I traveled down to Dorset to stay down on a place called Portland, which is technically a peninsula. So it's an island, but it's connected to the mainland by a strip of like a road, basically, and a beach. Beautiful place in the summer, terrible in winter, awful in winter. So I went down there, stayed down there for Christmas Eve, and then drove back. Jasper came with me, of course, and then we drove back on Christmas Day, sort of mid afternoon. It's like pissing down rain. I was like, I don't want to drive too much in the rain now. So yeah, so that was done. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. Just housekeeping rules, everyone watching. So this is different setup. Normally I'm facing this way, but I'm on my main computer now. I've been doing streaming from my laptop. Me being a complete dunce, forgot that you can get really long Ethernet cables. So I've not been able to stream from this because I've been dealing with Wi-Fi issues.
Oh yeah, Wi-Fi sucks for streaming, yeah.
And I'm a bellend, and I didn't realize I could just buy a really long Ethernet cable.
Yep. That's pretty much what I did until I can get AT&T to run my cable through the walls.
Absolute idiot. So I've got a really long Ethernet cable now, but obviously I'm sort of flip-flopping from here to look at you, and so just as an FYI. Also, just as another FYI, it links in the description box to everyone that appears on the show. So check them out. They'd obviously appreciate you guys checking their channels out. You guys like them here, so check out their channels. Also, check out the live stream channel, Mistake Reviews Live Archives. Please do hit subscribe. Be really cool if we can get that up to like 10,000 subscribers. That'd be great. Love that. That'd be really, really cool. So the whole streams go there because I don't stay on the main channel afterwards, and then they get clipped. So individual topics get clipped to their own video. So there's a reason to do it. If you can't stay for the whole stream and there's something specific that you just want to watch, then it's going to be on there. It's quite a great deal of effort, basically, but it'd be really cool, if you could check it out and sort of support that channel. There is also a PO box down there, just as an FYI, as well. You don't have to send stuff, obviously, but people seemed really surprised when I was like opening stuff on Christmas. They were like, "What? You get sent stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't really talk about the PO box. I should probably do that a bit more." So if you don't want to send anything, people send letters and stuff. The PO box is linked in the description box as well. But basically, we've got a fairly heavy stream today. I think first topic, realistically, is to talk about Avatar: The Way of Water crossing $1.1 billion. Now, I've already done a video on this, and I think it's important to sort of drop in straight away and just be like, look, I was wrong. Like, I'm happy freely to admit I'm wrong. My preconceived notions and opinions of the film, I still hold those opinions, by the way. That doesn't change my opinion. I still personally think the film is shit. But I'm not going to sit there and say that it's not being successful, because crossing $1.1 billion in like 14 days or whatever it is insane. Like, that's really, really good. So from a news perspective and from general populist perspective, I was wrong. I mean, Tom, you're of the same mindset I am. So what do you think about it? Crossing $1.1 billion in about 14 days. I mean, it's pretty mad.
Nothing to do with how I felt about I've not seen the film. I don't have any desire to. I don't wish any ill will towards the film. And I didn't think it was going to do all that great to begin with, because I have not seen any buzz for it. And funnily enough, outside of people in the YouTube sphere that see it for like review reasons and stuff like that, I have not met one person in my personal life who has seen this movie. But yet it's made $1.1 billion. It feels like Captain Marvel all over again. It's really weird. But again, I guess people are going to see it. So
I my sort of thought process on this was like, there must be a whole bunch of people that maybe it's normies. I don't know, because you are right. Like, there isn't a buzz, or there never seemed to be a buzz, and then it happens, and you're like, wow, loads of people really like this film, clearly. But then who's watching it? Because nobody's really talking about it. So I'm like, it must be silent Avatar lovers or general normies, I guess. I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, Nick, let's come to you first, I guess. Like, $1.1 billion. Did you think it would do this?
I can't believe it hit the 1 billion mark. Like, if I had
did that in about 13 days, apparently.
If I had to bet on
great.
that, of it hitting that, basically in the first 2 weeks, I would have bet all my money against it happening. Just like Tom, in my personal life, I know nobody who's seen this film. I don't know. Let's see, what do we got? Like 200 people in chat right now. I'm curious. I don't know if you can do a poll in
I think I can
chat.
do it on StreamYard.
I'm just curious how many people in the chat have seen this movie. Because I don't know where all these people are coming from. I haven't heard none of my friends, people that I talk to regularly about movie stuff. None of them have hit me up and said anything about this movie or anything. So I'm very surprised that it's hit this 1 billion mark. And again, I didn't think that it was going to get there, especially in a 2-week time frame.
I mean, it's tracking with Top Gun, but it's not tracking very well with Spider-Man No Way Home. So it's still performing below what that did. And everybody keeps wanting to compare it to Top Gun, which there are some similarities, but they were released at completely different times in the year. Spider-Man, on the other hand, was released at the same time. And it has some similar competition coming up as well as Avatar does. So, I mean, we'll have to see. I'm not saying I disbelieve the numbers. I'm just very sus right now. I with Disney being involved, I'm very, very sus.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, so I have just done a poll, actually, ladies and gents, at the top of the chat. You can see that now, so please do check that out. I did actually get sent an email. I haven't had a chance because obviously after Christmas, you sort of getting back into things and things like this. And I was sent an email from Yusuf, and it was to do with Avatar 2 box office numbers. And they just said, look, it's fake. And I'm like, oh, okay, let me have a look. Let's see. That's a pretty bold claim, right? And they say someone needs to check into this Avatar box office. 1 billion box office for Avatar, 30% domestic, 70% overseas. Who are they
it's all
fooling?
overseas. Yeah.
Only 750 theaters in France, but claiming $60 million. Interesting. Not even filmed in Asia or Europe. This is just what I'm just reading out what he says. So I don't really know what they mean by that. 28 million in Mexico with no theaters in the data.
Filmed,
in China,
meaning maybe shown, maybe in the translation.
Yeah, but I know it was. But I know there was. It was shown in Europe though, like Germany and things like that.
Yeah, but maybe not like significant enough theaters is what he means. Perhaps.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I'm just
no.
trying to interpret. But yeah.
No.
Yeah, likewise. And then they say $28 million in Mexico with no theaters in data. In China, it bombed because it did like $100 million in China. So, and they say, so how is this mathematically possible?
That's what I'm saying. None of it really adds up for some reason. It's like,
yeah, when you look at it, you're like, yeah, it's a bit curious. Like, I do agree. I'm not one to throw out and be like, yeah, it's complete nonsense. Like, I'm not going to do that. But it's an interesting thought experiment because I've not looked into it enough to know. I mean, if we look at Box Office Mojo, for instance, Avatar 2, because I don't know what they're saying on. So if we look at Box Office Mojo, Avatar 2, $317.4 million domestic, $712 million worldwide. I mean, that is a lot.
Yeah, it's nothing to sneeze at, but it's very lopsided. And of course, the original film was too, but not that much.
I'm trying to see if it was a performance. Right. Okay. So here you go. Here's what they're saying. So German. So $60 million in France, $36 million in Germany, $33 million in the UK. I can believe that. You know, I can believe that. Spain 18, Italy 18. Maybe they were confused and they didn't realize it released so widely across Europe. Because I mean, it has. There's a lot. But there's no massive numbers.
Yeah, unless I misinterpreted what they mean. I have no idea.
Yeah, until you get to like Latin America. So Mexico's done well. And then Brazil.
They don't count. Do they count Mexico in the North American numbers, though?
Mexico's just in Latin America. So on Box Office Mojo, it's separate. The one that surprised me was actually South Korea. Because it's not a huge place, but it did $53.9 million, which is good. Like that's a good thing. Like it's a surprise. It's still good though.
Sorry, I'm just very sus of some of this for some reason. It just and whatever.
Maybe it's just all the small things that add up, isn't it? Really, when you're looking at it,
could
like India,
I guess
$40 million. I don't know. I'd be curious to see what the actual theatre breakdown is of those places. You know, because France being so big with like. What was said, like 750 theaters. That's a lot. That is a lot, unless they're just all like IMAX screenings and all of that from that. But like, hey, it's done well. Like, let's be honest, like, you know, it has done well.
If these numbers are accurate, then I guess I remember Anna, that Star Wars girl, in chat when we were talking about this like a month or so ago, talking about how many people go to the Avatar theme park and how many people she knows that can't wait for this movie. There must be a lot more Avatar fans out there than I know of personally.
They're on the East and West Coast, I guess, because I don't know them.
Yeah, I don't know them either.
I don't necessarily think it's fans. I just think it's a lot of normies, you know? I genuinely think it's just a lot of normal people that are like, oh, I'd like to go see that, whatever. You know, people, I guess, that go and watch like 3 movies a year.
Yeah.
For argument's sake. You know, people that are really selective. They're like, I'll watch the biggest film of the year in theaters and that's it. Maybe. That's because we don't, you get, again, like, you know.
And for those people, they probably are looking at it like, okay, that the first Avatar movie was huge. Like everybody went to the theater. You had to go see it on the big screen. So maybe in their minds they're like, "Oh, Avatar 2 is out. This is going to be another one of those big movies you have to see in the theater, blah 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 and
Well, that's what the
3D."
trailer was suggesting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like theaters
So,
only. Watch it. It's the event movie of the decade, or what I can't remember
yeah.
what it said. But it was all that kind of crap that they normally say.
Yeah, maybe the marketing really helped the numbers here for them.
Yeah. Well, anyway, there you go. It is interesting. It'll be interesting to see whether they think this is a success or not, because that's the other important thing to note. Like, I don't want to get too bogged down with what James Cameron said and how people say you're taking him out of context when the context was there. He hasn't cleared it up, so we don't really know, right? But
no, and the papers have checked up on it, and we've heard now that the budget was somewhere in the $460 million range.
Well, I heard 350. Where's 460 come from?
I think it was Deadline.
Fucking hell!
And that would match up with needing $2 billion in revenue.
Do you think though, because they're not going to spend 400 on marketing, because there wasn't any marketing, unless we're talking about elsewhere in the world? Maybe.
No, but once you add, okay, let's say they spent $200 million on marketing,
so 660.
Okay? So right there, you got to triple that. That's about $2 billion. That's what I'm saying. No matter which way you cut this, you can argue that Cameron was being a little hyperbolic, maybe, but not really. Like, when you stop and think about it, if the movie costs nearly as much as they're boasting, I mean, once you add in everything else, yeah.
Do you think they would have spent like $200 million? Because I don't feel its presence.
I saw a lot of previews
as
for
much
it
as
all
other
over.
movies.
I mean, yeah, I think they spent more money on advertising than they did on
what's
Wakanda and stuff like that. I would say.
I've seen commercials for it during football games and stuff.
Okay. So I don't watch normal TV, right? Like I live on streaming and stuff because I don't.
Now my mom didn't see it. Now my mom watches all the normie stuff. She doesn't really watch YouTube or anything like that. She didn't see a preview for it until Thanksgiving.
That's surprising.
And that was during the football game, I believe. So,
well, yeah. So, but doesn't Disney own the rights to the football stuff? Because
if it's on ABC,
yeah,
don't they own ESPN because that's with Fox?
Well, that too, yeah.
So they wouldn't pay for that, though, would they? They'd internalize that cost.
They pay themselves.
Yeah, I think they still have to put it in the budget, don't they?
I guess.
Isn't that how that works, Tom?
Yeah, because they're technically separate entities, although they're under the same umbrella.
Yeah, okay.
They'd have to pay, but that's money out of that advertising budget that would go into ESPN, which at the end of the day would trickle its way back down to Disney. So yeah, it's one hand feeding the other kind of thing. Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, there you go. Like, it has done really well. So there's that. So that's good.
Yeah, and there's cereal, there's toys, like Bob said in the chat there. They've done a lot as far as in the US side of things to bolster the film. I just don't see the numbers in the box office wise, the US side of things. And maybe that's why Nick and I haven't met anybody in our personal lives who've seen this movie yet. Because really, if you look at the US numbers, they're not that great. They're okay. They're good. They're definitely good for a movie, period.
Yeah.
But not for a movie this big.
Everybody I know saw Spider-Man. Everyone was talking about it. Top Gun. I don't know anybody that's seen this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I know guys who saw Spider-Man 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, same. I saw it, I think, 3 times in theaters.
Yeah. Okay, well, I thought that'd be an interesting opening topic. It has done really well. But we'll just if you want to support the show, by the way, guys, Super Chat's really, really good way. Drop it in. You appreciate what we do here. Support it with a Super Chat. It's also a good way to get us to sort of interact with you and get your question heard as well. So good segue off is Big Red 40K.
Just don't ask us where babies come from.
Santa Claus, aren't they? They deliver them as midgets.
Yeah. With the stork.
Yeah. So Big Red 40K for $5 Canadian. I'll move my bloody mic. Says, I saw the film for the second time yesterday. It was a great time. The theatre was half full, but it was for expensive 3D tickets.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's somebody who saw it twice at least already, so there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to differentiate as well. Like, I don't know, like 13 years of inflation. What's the difference now on the inflation?
Actually, there's a huge difference in the price of tickets. Like, that's the other thing that people aren't taking
So
into
it's not just
consideration.
inflation; it's also ticket prices as well. Then, isn't it?
Because there was already a huge inflation difference between the original Black Panther and Wakanda Forever that like guys like Valiant Renegade and stuff are taking into consideration. So I got to imagine it's So I got to imagine it's more like 40% or more difference between what tickets were back when Avatar came out and the new one now.
Yeah, because the first Avatar came out in like what 2010 or
2009, yeah, late 2009,
yeah. Interesting. Well, so we've got the results of the poll anyway. So let's have a look. Where's the results of my poll? So 165 votes. Did you watch Avatar 2? 72% say no, and 27% said yes for the poll. Did you watch Avatar 2? So not a ton of people, basically. Yeah. And just as a quick one as well, mythic predictions. So I just want to let you know that this stream is getting me through a really rough time. Thank you, Mr. H.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Very sorry to hear that, but obviously very happy that we can provide some level of escapism for you, my dude. So I just wanted to highlight that. Just if anyone in the chat wants to send in some well wishes and stuff, please do. But yeah, always can you sort of rally people around? Always good. Next topic, which people were mentioning in the chat, which I didn't know until you were mentioning it in the chat. So please, thank you for that. Daniel Craig got paid like $50 million for Knives Out.
Jesus Christ!
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, right there's one of the reasons why we keep saying these movies' budgets are way too high. Is he worth that?
I don't know, mate. So, $50
million.
Yeah.
$50 million.
Outside of Bond, has he opened a movie?
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. So basically,
$50 million. Who do you think he kidnapped? Chelsea Clinton?
I'm a bit speechless.
That's from Rush Hour.
So Daniel Craig has received an astronomically high salaries for his role as Detective Benoit Blanc in Knives Out and its sequel Glass Onion, and is poised to cash in even more for the upcoming third installment of Netflix's surprisingly popular franchise.
Damn, I want the contract he got for that. Holy shit.
Yeah, really.
So he was paid $50 million to return in Glass Onion. And he made it $100 million after receiving another $50 million for Knives Out 3. Just literally, it's just been like, what on earth is going on?
I want some of that Netflix money is what I want.
I mean, that's and the thing is, Glass Onion only did $9.4 million because they
and they're talking about putting it back in theaters too.
Why didn't they just extend it?
That's what everybody was saying. Why didn't they just drop it in theaters for the holiday, then bring it out on Netflix? Like, come on. How long do we think this is really going to take before Amazon and Netflix really just do this in the norm? They'll drop a movie in theaters for like a couple months and then just put it on their streaming service.
I mean, that is mad, isn't it? Like,
the amount of money they're spending, they have to, because this is crazy. No wonder they're spending $10 billion on their stuff or whatever it is.
It's crazy.
Or 12 or whatever it is, yeah.
So $9.4 million in late November, and then grossed $13 million in time. So it's not even half of what he was paid. Oh my god. So this is direct from Netflix. Netflix sprinkles its contracts with additional sums to make up for it. This is why Craig's paycheck for the Knives Out franchise is so huge and is on track to get even bigger. So meanwhile, Knives Out franchise is nowhere near pulling the plug because obviously they're making a new one.
Oh no, they do very well for Netflix. I understand to a point why they're spending the money, but I guess I don't understand how they quantify it.
Well, Craig is the highest paid movie star because of Netflix.
Because of this now, huh? Well, Johnny Depp still
Yeah.
got more, but until he gets paid so he's getting $100 million paycheck for the third film. $100 million is just going right to Craig. Wow. I guess that's right. That would beat Johnny Depp's 90 million he got for, what was it, Pirates 4 or 5 or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. So I don't know whether that's. I think that's just he made it to 100 million after receiving it. So it's so he's already got money for Knives Out 3, basically.
Yeah,
so
I don't understand
50,
what that.
50 million per movie is what it's saying. I think what they're saying is that's the highest paid actor now, working now.
Could be
getting paid now, because I mean,
or maybe in
Jr.
Netflix's, because it says become
Yeah.
highest paid movie star as a result of Netflix's generosity. Yeah, because Johnny Depp made 90 or 95 million or whatever it was for the last Pirates movie.
Yeah. So the biggest movie stars' salaries. I mean, it is insane. So Jim Carrey used to earn 20 million per picture.
Yeah,
That's crazy. I mean, even that's crazy.
and that was back in the 90s though. But he had, you know,
I mean,
he had
Robert Pattinson only earned $3 million for the Batman.
good.
Well, I liked that film, so shush.
Didn't
There's no accounting for taste. I mean,
didn't
Hey,
Tom
fuck it
Cruise
off.
end up getting 100 million for Maverick when it was all said and done with?
yeah, but I think he had
No.
some back end deals, didn't he, or something like that?
Yeah, I don't think he
That's
got
what I
that
think that was all
initially up
about.
front.
I see Valiant Renegade in the chat. I sent you a link, motherfucker.
I sent him a link as well. God damn, Valiant. Fucking check your Twitter. We'll just berate you. Come on, Valiant, and we'll berate you. What an appealing invite that is.
Will
Yeah, we
Smith,
just
yeah, he
found
used to
out-
get quite a bit too. I see he got 40 million there, whatever it was that time. Yeah.
Well, Ryan Gosling got $20 million for The Grey Man. That film's.
That's a Netflix movie though. Netflix must. How do?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Will Smith got
Wow.
35 million for that Emancipation.
Oh God, I bet they're regretting that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he got so $100 million. They're rounding out to $100 million.
That they're
in
missing
total.
Johnny Depp though. They're completely overlooking Johnny Depp.
I think it looks like it's I don't know. I don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, you are right. I think this is like the last,
Because he made
year,
$90 million.
I think this is the last.
I'm looking
year,
at it right now.
Oh wow, they got Tom Cruise at only 13 million. But that's not that might be accurate for his upfront costs.
I think
Yeah, he got
all
whatever
what
it
that
was
is.
up front. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is all that is, just upfront stuff. I mean, that's madness, guys. That is absolutely insane.
This has got to be for the year because
Yeah, 100%. This is just this year alone. I mean, that is crazy.
Because if you think about it, last year technically didn't Gal Gadot make like $60 million for being in Wonder Woman 84 or whatever it was? Because she got I think 10 million up front, and then another 50 from the studio. So that rounded out somewhere around $60 million for that movie she got.
That's just madness. Madness. Valiant has said he's going to drop in a minute. Yeah, he DM'd me. Yeah, I know Valiant. Sorry, I've just read it now.
I don't care. I'll guilt him into coming in.
Right. Goodness me. So we'll get to some more super chats just real quick. So if you want to support the show, please do super chat. Really good way of doing it. Join the conversation and support a show that you guys like and want to keep going. Literally keep the lights on, because boy howdy, I got my gas and electricity bill. Fucking hell, that was expensive. Wow.
Yeah, my
really
gas
expensive in the UK. Yeah, I don't know. What's your average one for a month? What's your
last year? I was paying like, or the year, well, up until this last year here, actually, I was averaging like $20-$30 a month. If that
combined, gas, electricity combined.
No, just gas. Electricity maybe 60-70.
Okay.
And then now, like, my gas bill, like for the wintertime, is 2-3 times that easy.
Yeah,
I've been running electric heaters to keep my gas down. Because normally during the winter, my gas is like over $100. But I just paid it like yesterday, and it only got up to I think like right under $40.
Jesus. So yeah, so I got equates to over £200 a month. So you're looking at like $275 for gas, electricity for a single month.
Jeez.
Yeah, fucking hell. It was so super chats, guys. Keep the lights on.
It literally
anyway, Matt,
help keep the lights on.
yeah, literally. Matt Hepp for $5 says, "I've seen both Knives Out. Craig didn't give a performance worth that much. He gave a poor man's Columbo impersonation with a southern accent." Yeah, I have heard that, but I heard people liked it, so I don't know.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. I mean, Andre hated it, but most people I know enjoyed it or thought it was mostly harmless. But,
yeah, okay. Teague for $5 says, "What is y'all's fighting game of choice?" Mine is between Guilty Gear and Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I'm a Tekken fan, man. I love Tekken.
I've always
Tekken
liked Mortal
2
Kombat
back in the day.
Mortal
Tekken
Kombat.
2 back in the day.
I like Tekken. I got
Great.
Tekken 7 on PlayStation.
But now, as far as like, I
Yeah.
did enjoy like, what was it, EA that did the knockout games or whatever it was called, or Fight Night or whatever they were back in the day for PS3 and
Fight
shit like that.
You can't go wrong
PS2.
with Mike Tyson's Punch Out either.
Oh yeah, there's always the OG Punch Out as well. Yeah, Street Fighter was always fun too.
Yeah, I played
Mate,
Street
I used-
Fighter.
I used to really enjoy Tekken. Really, really like Tekken.
You guys
Yeah.
remember Clay Fighter
Yes,
No.
Clay Fighter
on
was fun
Super
too.
Nintendo?
Tekken was good, but Tekken
Clay
didn't
Fighter.
age well. That's the thing. Like
It didn't?
none
No, I
of the
thought
games
Tekken
in that
aged
era
well.
really aged too well. I mean, if we're talking a sequel, perhaps now maybe, but Soul Calibur is one I liked better than Tekken. And with Iron
Yeah.
Wolf.
The other one, the Marvel no, it's the Mortal Kombat. What was the Mortal Kombat and DC character
Versus DC,
one?
that one wasn't
Yeah.
too bad.
Yeah, that one was pretty cool.
Of course, they nerf Superman in all those all
Oh
the
god,
time.
yeah.
Of course they did.
You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's mandatory, isn't it?
Well, what else are you
I
gonna
guess.
do? I mean, he'd kill them all.
Yeah, he would just kill everybody.
Well, that's what you want, really. You want them to, spine snap everyone. I mean, I do. That's my kind of game. Oh dear. Anyway, so we're going to get on to a bunch of Marvel stuff now.
Marvelous.
I know.
Yesterday was Stanley's birthday.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and they're doing
His
a documentary
100th
about him, aren't
birthday.
they?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're doing a documentary about him on Disney Plus, which I reckon they'll probably butcher. I believe, wouldn't you?
Probably.
The last people in the world who should be making a documentary about him. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not good.
But I will say
Yeah.
that the documentary that Lucasfilm did on ILM is probably one of the best documentaries I've ever seen.
Oh, really?
On Disney Plus. Yeah.
Wow.
It's from the conception of ILM during the making of the first Star Wars movie all the way up to today, with them working on Mandalorian.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, it was very insightful, very well done. I absolutely loved it from start to finish. If you guys haven't seen it, I highly suggest you go and watch it.
Right. Okay. That is.
I wonder how much of the actual true story we get, though. That's the only thing I worry about when we get anything like that from the company that basically owns them. They really gonna tell us.
It's a pretty good bit because there's a lot of people that aren't involved with ILM anymore that started it, that was there from its conception, that didn't have very nice things to say about what.
I was gonna say, did they even get into being the ones that were banned from the ranch or anything like that?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right,
Yeah.
maybe I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, they've mentioned that a couple different times actually.
Yeah, there was a group of guys who got banned for some stupid shit.
Yeah.
But then George kept using them later on, even though they weren't allowed technically.
Yeah.
Lucas Ranch.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. So just to run another super chat coming. Just sorry, got to address this. Al for £5. Did I get the other T-shirt? I think it arrived yesterday. Haven't opened it yet, but it feels like a T-shirt basically. So that's gonna be the T-shirt, I would imagine, buddy. Nothing arrived today, unless it all sort of went into one blend and yesterday became today or today became yesterday for me. Who knows? But yeah, something arrived, so I'm sure it is the T-shirt. I just need to open it up. Right. So Just Marvel phase 5 and 6, right? They've sort of reached, in my head, they've reached sort of peak desperation. And I think this is perfectly encapsulated by them killing off Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man and phasing out Nick Fury. Those two things leads to big desperation because there's no one steering the ship of the MCU. So Nick Fury was always there, Iron Man was always there, and they were the glue, the connective tissue between each film. They sort of bounced off of everyone really, really well, and they held everything together. And now, them killing off Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man and simultaneously phasing out the likes of Nick Fury, played by Samuel L. Jackson, I think that has led to a rudderless ship of the MCU. And as a result of that, now just peak desperation. Robert Downey Jr. is rumored to be returning in Secret Wars and more. I mean, what do you guys think of the statement primarily? And then,
well, I'm a little more concerned because Robert Downey Jr. is now a vegan lesbian. I don't know if you've seen a picture of him lately.
No.
Oh God, yeah, he's not looking too hot.
Do you have a picture of this?
I can find one here. Hang on. Yeah,
please do.
This is just desperation. Really, let's be real at this point. They know they done fucked up.
Well, that's what it says to me, doesn't it? Like, we'll just get them back real quick, you know? But then they're also said to be killing off Nick Fury in Secret Invasion as well. But this comes to us from My Time to Shine H over on Twitter. That has reasonable leaks. Pretty okay track record, basically. Not terrible. And they say RDJ is back, baby, for Secret Wars, for sure. And there's been some talks for a cameo in Armor Wars, which, like, let's face it, you got Armor Wars. Like, Riri Williams is not a selling point for Armor Wars. Like, is she a selling point in any way, shape, or form for Armor Wars? Like Ironheart, come on.
Yeah,
terrible character.
She's not a selling point in anything.
No, well, they chose the most. The actor was awful, terrible actress. And they even say Liv Tyler's in talks to come back as Betty Ross. So this is that sort of spilling over into the multiverse situation at hand here. But I just think that screams as desperation. And I mean, a chap that can help us with this is VR, Valiant Renegade, who I'm sure could chime in on some of the numbers here. But I mean, phase 4 onwards, it's been a bit of a shit show, hasn't it? How you doing, Valiant?
Great. Hope everyone had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year coming up. Yeah, phase 4 was, God, it was a mess. And if I sound a little weird, I'm sorry. I'm on a mobile hotspot right now. So, but hopefully this will work out. But yeah, no, phase 4 was, man.
That's unacceptable, Valiant. I'm just get you off.
No, I mean, apart from excluding Spider-Man No Way Home, that was a Sony picture. Phase 4, really, you had Doctor Strange, where they made some green at the box office, and that was about it. Everything else was break even to losing money.
That is not Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yep. He is officially running a lesbian bookstore now.
No.
That is him. That's directly from his Instagram.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
He's unrecognizable.
Yeah, he went vegan.
Wow.
Aside from bugs.
He's unrecognizable.
Is he part of the Pink Foot Clan? Ninja Turtles? There's that. The foot.
What? I warned you, he doesn't look like he used to, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll obviously look fine in the film, but Jesus.
They might.
I guess
they
went
might
completely
bring him out
vegan.
looking like that.
I guess he went totally vegan is what happened. Yeah, WCW, you need a steak ASAP. Or some shawarma.
That's really shocking. Like, I'm
so would you want him back as Iron Man at this point?
Well, apparently.
I think he's really drank the Kool-Aid, but yeah.
Him and his soy lattes and
Soy latte.
vegan, whatever it is they eat.
Well, they're
Cricket.
talking. They
Tofu.
want to get him back. There's a lot of desperation because they know that right now, even though
It's a
they'll of
selling
course
point.
never admit this in public, but Marvel is in some dire
Yeah.
straits right now.
Yeah.
It's not just the movies; it's the TV shows on Disney Plus. The merchandise is
Yeah.
nothing from Phase 4 is selling. Throw Spider-Man out for a
Right.
second, but nothing else is
Yeah.
selling. It's a real problem. I know several months ago, WDW Pro and that Park Place did a piece from a very, very reliable source. We talked about it back then as well on the live show. And, he had a beat about 3 weeks before we saw Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman together in a video for Deadpool 3. He called it. Hugh Jackman was coming. He also mentioned trying to get Robert Downey Jr. back, trying to get even Halle Berry in a storm. Talking about several of bringing back a lot of the Phase 1 through 3 people in some form or fashion to try to reinvigorate, even if only using them in cheap dime store cameos is what I think.
Well,
Just to have them
that's
show up
apparently
for
what
a
this
minute.
is.
Yeah. Just to have them show up so you can put 5 seconds of Robert Downey Jr. in a Marvel Cinematic Universe trailer to get people in the door.
Yeah.
Sounds about right for them.
Jeez. I'm so shocked. He looks fucking awful. So to move on from that into further desperation, I think good business move, but still a bit of desperation. Ben Affleck's apparently in talks for a villainous Marvel role.
I don't buy this one. It could be true, but he said he's done with the big movies.
Well, it looks like a shit role, so I don't think it's a big one.
Regardless, I don't. Yeah, just for the paycheck, maybe.
Well, apparently he's Dario Agger, which was like a shapeshifter that can turn into a Minotaur. Terrible.
Never
MCU
even heard
role.
of them.
Just I don't know, but it's that desperate sort of element that Marvel seems to be going through at this moment. But God,
Sorry,
damn you.
I know. That was my car.
Yeah. Hate hearing yourself. Awful. But yeah, terrible stuff. Awful stuff. Interesting at the very least.
I wish I gave a shit. There might be some of that I'd be excited for, especially like the Hulk news that we're getting more Hulk stuff. Because to me, the Hulk's gotten the shaft worse than any character of all the Marvel universe. Sure. But I don't like Mark Ruffalo's Hulk.
Yeah, no, I hate his Hulk. He needs to lay off the soy.
Professor Hulk.
Ugh.
God.
I mean, I loved Thor Ragnarok. Don't get me wrong. The best part is the Hulk, but as soon as he stops being the Hulk, it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what they should do is do Mr. Fix-It. The Grey Hulk. That'd be great. I'd love Mr. Fix-It. Grey Hulk.
I would just wish they'd recast. Even Norton, even if they just put up with his bullshit, was better.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was notorious, wasn't he? He was pretty bad.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories about Norton. Basically, the character he plays in Birdman, I've heard that's not far off from what he's really like in real life.
Oh, dear.
Huh. Wow.
That ain't good.
I'm guessing that's why he doesn't get a whole lot of roles anymore.
Well, yeah, he takes shit way too seriously from what I've heard, basically. Yeah.
Never go full retard, I guess, So.
And he likes to take over productions a la American History X, and he tried to do it to Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, that's not going to go down well with Marvel as an entity talking about stuff like that. Since we've got you here, Valiant, and only for a specific amount of time, let's talk about Harry Potter. Come on, spill the tea, Milado.
Yeah.
Come on, lay it on. Come on.
No, we don't have any terribly many specifics yet, and there was some things that were imparted to us that really can't say yet, but not too much beyond what we did talk about in the video. But yeah, I mean, look, David Zaslav in one of the previous earnings calls when we were covering it live said that he was wanting to work with and looking forward to working with, his words, he wants to work with JK to make some more Harry Potter stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
you know, and we knew that was coming. The Wizarding World, or not Wizarding World, excuse me, the Fantastic Beasts series have really not been successful.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just even having ejected Johnny Depp from the role of Grindelwald, it may not have still survived.
Yeah.
So
I don't think that movie died necessarily just because of that. Like, I think that's
No, those movies were only making like a third of what a Harry Potter movie was, if that. No, and this goes along with what I had heard prior to Zaslav even bringing it up, is after DC, his next thing he was going to concentrate on was Harry Potter. I had heard he wanted to do a two-part movie of the play, The Cursed Child or whatever.
Yep, that's what I heard. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how that's going to work out, because also, like, from what I had heard from my peeps was that, yeah, there's a lot of problems considering most of the cast has badmouthed J.K. Rowling, and they're more friendly.
Well,
Obviously, J.K. Rowling being the creator, they're going to want to work with her more so than the cast. Anyway, Valiant, I'm sorry.
Well, I think they have to work with her, don't they? She pretty much owns the rights.
Yeah, she still has a big say in things, I believe.
Yeah, I mean,
so,
Warner Brothers.
They physically have to work with her. They can't not work with her.
Well, I mean, Daniel
rights
Radcliffe and Emma Watson, and I mean, they could just straight up refuse to do anything else. Hey, we don't want to make any more of these because we hate JK. I mean, Warner Brothers has the film rights, and that's one of the reasons I think that they were discussing recasting the characters, kind of rebooting it, because what I posited in the video was, I think part of the problem with Harry Potter, particularly with Fantastic Beasts, is that what made the original books and films so huge was that it engendered an audience that were kids. It was about kids in a school at Hogwarts. You've got to have Hogwarts. You've got to have that element.
Well, it was also that the people that they made the films for, they were really quite smart. I mean, the books came out and the films came out quite quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite, as they kind of became popular, boom, they jumped on it and they made films pretty quickly. And so you had a generation, several generations of fans that had grown up reading the books that now grew up alongside these child actors. And so there was that quite a unique element to Harry Potter and what they're called, potheads, whatever they're called. The really the Harry Potter fandom, for instance, they grew up alongside
the Harry Potheads.
Yeah, the hairy potheads. They grew up alongside the cast, so they were very, that's a unique situation. It became popular.
That is a good point, Nate. Like, the only other time I could think that's even remotely like that would be like maybe the Little Rascals would be the closest thing you could compare to that, where you actually were a part of this thing and they were the first and original cast and grew up in these characters, and that generation grew up with them. And it was quite a while before they could find a way to revamp that, and it never really did ever again. So, I mean, again, I know that's way in the distant past comparatively to Harry Potter, but no, that's a good point. And I never thought of that angle before, is how, even though this is a book series and you could readapt it over and over and over and over and over again.
You can, but how do you recapture that as a specific?
That's a good point. Nobody else has ever played these characters, and you had a decade's worth of films where an entire generation of kids grew up with them. Yeah.
And it's not that old. It's not like the movies themselves are terribly dated. It's not like the special effects are 1979 era special effects. I mean, they were still good effects. These movies still hold up to today.
Right. Yeah. My suggestion, if I was them, I would try to get everybody together and make nice with JK. And I would do sequel movies about the kids of the kids.
Yeah.
And have the adults in like teaching roles and stuff like that. Yeah.
Little bit cliche, but yeah, it could.
What else are you going to do though? Like, you're right. I mean, I
agree.
That way to go with it. You could. Well, the whole thing was like later on in life, we knew that Harry became himself an Auror. So you could have the adventures of older Harry Potter as an Auror chasing a new dark force. That's number one. If they wanted to go back to the past and still have the Voldemort dynamic, then what you do is you get Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson back, but you cast them as James and Lily Potter.
Really? Even Emma Watson? Really?
Well, I mean, just to try to get, if you want to recapture the popularity of that original cast, but at least you got to get Daniel Radcliffe. You cast him as James Potter, and you have him in that early era where Voldemort's rise was happening. when all the murders were going on, the creation of the Order of the Phoenix, that would be great. And I think people would easily accept Daniel Radcliffe being in a Harry Potter movie and cast in a role other than Harry himself, because it's pretty much impossible at this point. But if you cast him as James, I think everybody would go for it.
You are right. Yeah, he hasn't aged.
That's another possible direction. But yeah, no, I think that's the thing, is I think people would expect him, even as an adult, to still be Harry Potter. Which that's what I'm saying. Unless you're going to reboot it and start from scratch, you might as well just do new adventures with the adult kids now having kids and all that kind of stuff. Like, but I mean, a lot of people didn't like The Cursed Child, from my understanding.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Apparently, I've not read it. Apparently, The Cursed Child is proper poo.
It is.
Wasn't even written by J.K. She just gave it a blessing, wasn't it? Is that right?
Yeah. No, you're right. It was a stage play, basically, that they just put into a book.
Not good. Not smart. Yeah. Apparently, that's not a good. Apparently, it's not. It does play on the West End in the UK a lot, though. Like, there's always adverts for it, so maybe it's a good play. I guess. I don't know.
From the sound of it, it belongs on the Bell End. I mean, I'm just saying.
That was terrible, but I'll forgive you.
Hey, I added the drum thing at least.
And A for effort. Get gold star for trying. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I don't think there's ever a way that you can recapture this magic, pun intended, because I think you miss something fundamental about the main popularity of the franchise. People grew up with it as it was popularized. They made the movies pretty damn quickly. You can't replicate that.
Yeah,
you can't replicate that, and that's
why
I
never thought of it from that angle.
Those people are the definitive cast for the fandom, because that's kind of all they've ever known. I mean, they picked up the book and then it's popularized, and then that's the character. And there you go, done straight away. So as you were reading the next one, that's who you're seeing along with it as well. Like it just sort of steamrolled into one another. So yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, and just to be clear with everybody watching out there, I mean, the news that we heard, Pro and I, was, that this was happening. The discussions were happening. There's a lot of intense discussion going on right now. Is number one, can they do that? How would they do it? Or what is the best way to go about? There's nothing in stone here. Like, yes, they're rebooting it. It's guaranteed. It's done. This is what they're doing. Mm-hmm. As of right now, we just know that there is a lot of high level discussion on what direction to take to revitalize that franchise. And that is from a source that has been consistently very good with us. I mean, time will tell where this goes. Look, obviously, like we said, the first order of business, fix DC. But the next order of business is going to be somebody's going to get announced to head up the Wizarding World Studios.
Yeah.
Just like James Gunn and Saffron were for DC, somebody's going to come in for the Wizarding Studios at Warner and make that go. Or whatever they're going to call it, or something. But yeah.
Yeah. Very funny. I mean, I think it's that to me, that's a disaster waiting to happen. I think that they will crash and burn with that. I think that's
maybe
not good. But I was wrong on Avatar. I might be wrong on this.
if they treat it with respect and do it right, yeah.
Yeah. Let's get some super chats real quick before we move on to the next topic. Your Muslim uncle for $1.99 says Tekken and Tekken Tag rule. Never played Tekken Tag. What was Tekken Tag? Anyone?
It was another one of the Tekken games that came out. One of those PS3.
It was a Tekken game called Tekken. No.
It was like it was one that didn't really do very well. It wasn't like part of the main franchise,
right? Like a spin-off.
It was like a spin-off,
right? Oh, okay. What's your favorite fighting game, Valiant?
Oh man,
I said Tekken.
I heard y'all talking about that. Man, it's been ages since I played Tekken. Now you're making me want to go back and play it. I probably played Mortal Kombat 2 and Street Fighter 2 more than anything.
Tekken 2, love Tekken 2.
Yeah, I mean that was trying to remember when those came out. So I'm, I
Or
think
Golden Axe. Not sure a fighting game, but
Golden Axe really wasn't a fighting game. It was more of an adventure game, though, right? That was on because I still have that on Sega Genesis.
You had an axe.
It was like a beat 'em up.
Yeah,
the side scroller. It was like
hack and slash, whatever. Yeah.
I used to love that. That was cool.
Yeah.
You get on a mobile phone. The last few.
Yeah, like Golden Axe and Altered Beast.
That was another great one.
Beast. Yeah, I love that. Void 9 for $10 says, will the MCU ever introduce divine entities such as the Beyonder, Oblivion, and even Mephisto and Tribunal? More story-driven characters like Beta Ray Bill and Galactus. Either way, writing is key. So Galactus is supposedly was going to be introduced. I can't remember in what film, but there was some concept artwork for it that came out. But I mean, you're right. Like they don't have. It's difficult to say, really. Like they feel, to me, it feels like they're rushing these stories. You know, they're rushing to these peak events really quickly. Whereas I felt like, you know, the whole Infinity Wars, whatever you want to call it, saga, was a really good slow burn. You know, it felt like it had purpose, and each movie was a self-contained narrative that also was key to building the structure for the overall narrative. Whereas this feels like they're rushing to get to the next thing, and it's going a bit too quickly, and each film is just an advert for the next one, which will be the culmination. I don't know. Did anyone else feel like that? Was it just me? Because that's my
phase 4. You mean?
Yeah.
Phase 4 is just it was a complete mess. Nothing seemed connected at all to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a hot mess. Nothing built up. Nothing grew from one to the next. I mean, when I first heard that, okay, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, that's going to be the finale of Phase 4, I'm like, you what? I'm like, I didn't know the damn thing started. What the fuck? How we already?
Well, they ended that really quick, didn't they? That was when they rushed it. When they were just like, "Oh yeah, Phase 4's over now." You're like, "What?"
Yeah, well, they threw in all the Disney Plus. Yeah, they threw in all the Disney Plus shows as being part of it, like that fleshed it out. But those sucked for the most part. I mean, God, I don't know. That's why they're bringing on. You know, they're going to spend a lot of money in phases 5 and 6, bringing in all these heavy hitter actors from the first phases just to try to juice this. That doesn't mean the writing's going to get any better, folks.
Yeah. Tom. Nick?
Well, I mean, like Valiant was saying, this thing was compromised from the go because of the whole James Gunn incident.
Compromised, love it.
You add in, you know, the woke bullshit that came into the Marvel universe, making it the MCU. Victoria Alonso's nonsense. I mean, this is just a clusterfuck of
shit for a while.
Well, she's still there. This has just been a clusterfuck of bull crap, and nothing coming out next year looks remotely interesting outside of Guardians of the Galaxy. So other than that, I mean, I think they need to reevaluate where they're at. I had this meme and I can't find it anywhere because I must have moved it on my other hard drive, but it basically showed a comparison, or actually it was more of a chart, I would say. It showed a comparison of how much actual stuff we got from Marvel Phase 1, 2, and 3 and compared to 4. Marvel Phase 4, if you count the Disney Plus shows, we have had just as much stuff in Phase 4 as we did in 1, 2, and 3 combined, basically. Which is insane. And all of it is garbage.
And nothing happened.
And nothing really happened, yeah.
Yeah.
So at this point, like, my drive or interest in the MCU has completely diminished. The shows are
like a sub-Saharan.
Yeah, between the shows and the last few lackluster films outside of Spider-Man being the only highlight, I really just don't give a shit. The only thing I'm looking forward to, like I said, is seeing the third and final film in James Gunn's Guardians trilogy, and I'm good. So. Unless Spider-Man brings up something worth a shit. I mean, Deadpool I'll go see, but I don't even really count that in the MCU, which is weird, but yeah.
Yeah, well, it is kind of like, I think that is going to be almost its little own thing, to be fair. So it's not really, but it kind of is.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. Shame. Disconnected mess. Togi Free for $9.99 says, prediction, Secret Invasion will be X-Files like show about Fury and team hunting Skrull. Will be Feige's way of writing off Skrull. Ends of all bad Skrull gone, except one Super Skrull villain in F4, Phase 4. What's F4? Oh, Fantastic Four. I guess. Is that what F4 is?
Yeah, probably Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I don't know. An X-Files like show? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, to me it sounds like, isn't Secret Invasion a movie? It's not a show, is it? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like the next Infinity War / Endgame, like the culminating end,
Right,
to another.
Yeah, I think
big
Secret
section.
Wars is the show and Secret Invasion is the movie, or vice versa. I think.
Yeah,
Right.
One of them's a show. I just remember that.
Okay, so obviously, yeah, talking about the show here anyway. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the idea of an X-Files type show, but you know what all that says to me? It sounds a lot like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. doing it like that, if that is going to be the case. This is all just...
I tried watching
Conjecture.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I lost interest after,
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not my cup of tea, personally, but whatever. And then Larry Quadrant says, Hugh said Deadpool 3 has time travel, so it won't interfere with Logan. I thought it took place before that anyway, so that could be an Iron Man spoiler. Iron Man spoiler.
I mean, with the multiverse, they can pretty much do whatever they want.
Well, and most all of this takes place before. I mean, what Logan, like 2030 or something like that? The 2035 was way off in the distance.
Yeah, but where's Iron Man set? Iron Man is still set early, isn't it? That was set in real time.
Yeah, Avengers was set in 2012 or whatever, 2000 whatever, and then they took forever to get ahead. That's why they did that 5-year jump that fucked everything up.
Yeah.
Because they were like, all the movies were taking place within like a few days or weeks of each other, even though they were coming out year after year. And then so by the time they got to that point, because I think Spider-Man No Way Home is actually like 2018 or some shit like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yeah. They've actually said that they're going to release like an actual timeline now. So they're obviously pulling that.
Yeah, or whenever they jump ahead there or No Way Home is actually like 2015 or whatever it is. Or Spider-Man Homecoming is like 2015 or whatever it is, and then there's the 5-year time jump or whatever between the two.
Oh, Far From Home with the second one, you mean?
Yeah, Far From Home. I always fuck the names up.
Yeah, Far From Home. Yeah. And then you've got whatever. Yeah, if Endgame was supposed to be real time in 2019, the MCU is now in, the 5 year later, whatever. Or Endgame was supposed to be Infinity War was supposed to be 2018, and I guess Endgame was supposed to be 2024.
That's what I'm saying. It's all fucked up. They done fucked it all up. Because then on top of it all, fucking like Black Widow takes place. Black Widow is supposed to take place before Infinity War, but yet it takes place in like 2019. So I'm still fucking confused at how all this works. Like, yeah.
Time travel.
It's all fucked up.
Oh, goodness.
Because actually, I think Infinity War was 2015, if I'm not mistaken.
Or whatever, something.
Because, Avengers 1 is 2012. I think Avengers 2 is supposed to be like 2012 as well. And then Civil War is supposed to be like a year or two after that. And then putting Infinity War like in 2014 or 15 or something like that. Yeah. And then Endgame is supposedly set in 2023. I don't know about that.
I see what you're saying. So Endgame got you caught up to present day 20.
Yeah, because that's the jump ahead or whatever. But yeah,
I'm with you. Not really, but I'm with you.
See, now 2 people have said 2023. So I am.
No, I see where you're going with it though. Yeah, but no, it is confusing and it's messy but that's just it. They've made such a mess at this point. They feel like they can do whatever they want. And when last summer and Phase 4, kind of started with Black Widow, that's when I started looking around going, man, after a couple of Marvel shows, that's it, folks. It's all downhill from here. I told my 3 kids when we left Endgame, I said, that's it for Marvel, guys.
That's
Everything
what I
after
said. I
this,
was like, it's
everything after this, it's done. No,
I
Dad,
remember
it's gonna
saying
be-
in
yeah.
yeah, I remember saying before, I was like, yeah, I feel like this is the end game now. Like this is
Yeah.
the end game. Void9 for $3 says, will Beta Ray Bill be in future Thor or Hulk movies?
Will
Probably
there
as a
be any
cameo.
more Thor more movies?
Well, Hemsworth doesn't seem like he's keen to do it. So
He was for a while, and now all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're
well, he
too
come
keen
out and
on
said
it.
about he came out and said how he prefers doing the action in Extraction than he does in
Yeah, and he
Marvel
took some
movies.
swipes at Waititi in
Taika,
that
yeah.
interview too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's getting tired of the
dumb
joke.
Thor.
Yeah, dumb Thor.
Well, he didn't like being cucked. It's the bottom line. You look at what he said. It's like you read between the lines. It's like he did not like. It's like, okay, now it's just like everything's zany, wacky, funny Thor, and it's just I don't care.
Yeah, well, he said, you know, he's like, oh, there's something so satisfying about that, about the fight scenes in Extraction Snowy Prison Yard with more than 300 extras. Not to take anything away from the special effects filled sort of Marvel film, but you have a lot of help in post production there.
Yeah,
obviously, I can't fly, so they help me through that. Whereas in this film, the action is grounded in reality, and so much of it is in camera, so it's a different energy, and the preparation is a lot more extensive.
Let me reinterpret that. It sucks filming shit in front of a green screen.
Yeah,
basically, yeah, it's not tangible. I'm not touching anything. Probably the most intense part was not so much the exhaustion levels, but just the sheer terror of all the things that could have gone wrong, but thankfully didn't.
He had adrenaline going. He was into it. He liked it. Like that's what he's saying. He didn't like. He was bored with Thor.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Extraction massively.
Yes.
Valiant, you've got to disappear, Mr.
Yeah, Valiant's got to run.
I do. I've got to run to another appointment here. But thanks for having me.
Thanks for dropping on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, glad I could do it, and I'll be listening in the background as much as possible.
Perfect. Everyone, check out Valiant Renegades channel down below in the description box. Would appreciate that.
Y'all take care and have a happy New Year.
See you, Valiant.
Thanks, buddy.
Take care, buddy.
So moving on to another super chat here. So Harry Potter, The Wand Awakens. The First Order of the Phoenix rules supreme, and the dead speak. Somehow Voldemort has returned. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, it almost sounds like a porn parody. The Wand Awakens. I'm not gonna lie, but still, it does.
Well, I mean, I didn't see. Honestly, I have no like designs in Harry Potter. I didn't even know that she didn't write The Cursed Child. So if that's the case, she can go anywhere she fucking wants with this.
I swear she didn't. Let me double
check.
I
didn't think she did either, I thought she did, but I had no idea that she didn't. I mean, if that's the case, then fuck, yeah. I don't even know why Zaslav would care.
So the play was written by Jack Thorne from an original story by J.K. Rowling, John Tiffany, and Thorne. So what? So not really, but they sort of did.
So is that just the credit she gets for creating the characters?
No. So Jack Thorne wrote a 45-page treatment.
Okay.
And then from there, it was developed with J.K. Rowling, but she didn't write it specifically.
Gotcha.
Not her story. So yeah, she didn't write it. I was right, basically.
So at that point, yeah, why would she even have any real attachment to that? If I was her, I'd be like, why do we have to do that? Let's do something else.
Yeah. Well, she said it's official canon, so that's why.
Well, if she said, then whatever. Yeah.
Herself into a hole, isn't she? But back on Marvel in the future, because this is just comical as hell. So there's 6 upcoming multiverse saga movies and TV shows possibly revealed by Marvel Studio trademarks, and I thought this would be funny.
Sometimes these are real, sometimes they're just to throw people off.
Exactly, but some are interested. So we'll dive into it, right? Hours before Marvel Studios' Hall H panel at the San Diego Comic-Con, eagle-eyed fans spotted a whole host of trademark filings for upcoming movies. Among them were Avengers, The Kang Dynasty, Avengers Secret Wars, Captain America New World Order, and Thunderbolts. So some were right.
Yep.
But those weren't the only projects to be trademarked. So Phase 5 took shape this year. Phase 6 remains bit of a mystery. We don't really know too much. There's 2 movies, Avengers and Fantastic Four. Even amid reports of Marvel Studios returning to a quality over quantity approach to storytelling, Kevin Feige and company will have some huge movies planned for the multiverse saga. So here's the trademarks, and they're very funny. So the multiverse saga was included in the trademarks. So just jump in at any point if you want to comment on this stuff, because this is just, to me, there's interesting elements to be had here. So the multiverse saga seems to be...
That one's not much of a surprise.
No,
like it's the overall thing, isn't it? And then the Timeless Saga.
The fuck is the Timeless Saga?
Some of it could be for comics, I guess. I don't know. The Eternity Saga.
So we don't know if these are for the movies or for movies and comics.
Well,
or animated shows.
Yeah, we don't know. Literally no idea.
Okay.
So Avengers Timeless, Avengers Eternity War, Avengers Excursion. Going on
unless there's some that are tie-ins.
Exactly, yeah. So, who knows, right? Honestly, who knows?
Well, and if they're going to be amping up these mini movies or whatever you want to call them, like the Guardian special and the Werewolf by Night, maybe they're going to do like a trilogy of little mini movies around the Avengers films. That I could see having titles like that's what that sounds like to me, but I could be wrong.
Like 30-40 minute episodes, like the
with like ancillary characters that are in the movie, but like they have to do with like just filling in some blanks somewhere. Like
listen, the Black Knight Origins, that better be a comic, because that is some like 2000.
That sounds like a book or a comic,
isn't it? The Black Knight Origins. I mean, goodness me.
And then Hercules Rise of the Gods is probably a tie-in to some Thor spinoff or something that's never going to be anything.
Runaways New Era. What is Runaways?
Never even heard of it.
That is they are a trying to remember what they're part of. They had a series even on Hulu already.
Did they?
Yeah.
No.
The Runaways?
Yeah. I think it was Hulu or FX, one of the two, yeah.
Wow.
I think they're attached to the X-Men, because I think they were under the Fox deal. If I'm not mistaken. Somebody correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but yeah, I know they're a Marvel property. FX, yeah, WCW said.
So you got Red Guardian, Generations.
They're mutants, yep.
Well, isn't Red Guardian?
Well, we already have him, David Harbour. Yeah.
So that's terrible. Generations, maybe that's...
But see, it says right there, those were a separate batch of trademarks. Those all sound like tie-in graphic novels and shit to me.
It does.
And it looks like Marvel's Runaways was a 2017 drama series that had 3 seasons. It looks like it's like a teen drama. And
it's a spin-off of the mutants. Yeah, it's in the X-Men universe.
Awful. Shang-Chi and the Wreckage of Time. That is a terrible name.
The Wreckage of Time.
Yeah, time really shown how much of a wreckage the movie the first one was. We know that much.
I mean, that is an awful time.
I was actually in the minority on the Shang-Chi movie. I didn't think it was that bad. I didn't think it was something to write home about, but
I didn't hate it. I was entertained. That was it.
I'm not surprised if they're going to do like some time travel bullshit. Yeah. This is probably... we've been hearing rumors about a Shang-Chi sequel.
Yeah.
They're going to do it no matter what.
No.
Midnight Suns?
That's one we've heard come up from time to time.
Game at the moment, haven't they? Midnight Suns.
Yeah.
So
Blade?
Well, so he's part of the Midnight Suns.
That's where part of our name comes from.
Okay. Does it?
Midnight Suns and Marvel Edge. Yeah.
Oh. Did not know that. The origin of Midnight's Edge. Anyway. I mean, yeah, that'd be a good way to introduce Blade, because they don't seem to be wanting to introduce Blade in his own film at this point in time, because they seem to be struggling with that somehow. Nomad. All right, I guess. Nomad is the mantle.
Well, that's one I've actually kind of been saying is a no-brainer, because I said there's how many years in between there where Steve Rogers would have been putting the stones back.
Yep.
So what happened in the meantime? You have, the first time he's going to come face to face with the Red Skull again too, even though it's not the same Red Skull exactly. That's a meeting I want to see.
Is it though? I think it's better in your head.
No, it could turn into a fight, or it could be actually an interesting conversation. And not only that, it sets up the idea that, and this is where I'm surprised, because they did kind of hint that that's what they were going to do, but they changed the ending of Black Widow. As I always said, we know you have to leave something to take the stone, but they never say what happens if you bring it back.
Yeah.
So what if he gets to get her back because of the stone? We don't know that. So that was another interesting question, because that was, funnily enough, what I heard early on with Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was supposed to be about, was that Chris Pratt's character, Star-Lord, was upset that he didn't like the new Gamora. So he got the idea that if he could get the Time Stone, or the Soul Stone, or whatever it was, back and take it back, he might be able to get his Gamora back. And that might have been set up by this idea that, so I don't know. And that's what I heard. That was years ago, though, before James Gunn got fired.
Yeah.
So shit could have changed big time since then.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So you've got Celestials.
Because in that one, the other Gamora ends up being the villain. But anyhow, sorry.
No. I mean, you're right. I just don't have too much to sort of jump in on that, to be honest. I don't think that's going to be the case, looking at how that movie went now. Interesting thought, though. But I mean, Nomad. So you talk about Marvel's desperation. That's a good way for them to bring back a well-liked character. Maybe
you got a few seasons of a show you can really do, actually. But anyway,
that's what I was about to say. This would be better served as a show. I think, personally, a show. I would watch that. I think
pretty much every season could be a new decade.
Yeah, that'd be quite fun, actually, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I quite like the sound of that. One thing I don't like the sound of is Celestials End of Time.
No, because this is attached to the Eternals.
Yeah, I was getting there to say, if that's attached to the Eternals, no thank you.
I think this is why we keep hearing about an Eternals sequel. I don't think we're getting a sequel, but I think this might be one of those little short movie things or something, perhaps.
Well, I reckon that what they're going to do is it'll be a sequel, but it won't be a sequel, and it'll be about the Celestials, but the Eternals will be there.
That makes sense too, yeah.
And I reckon that this kind of name, I think, adds to that. Maybe because the Eternals there's no brand for the Eternals, and it was literally the Eternals. How do you each comic character is its own brand. You've got Captain America, it's a brand. Iron Man, it's a brand. It's a brand within the umbrella of Marvel, but that's the selling point. And the Eternals were garbage, not good. No one wants to watch that again.
I couldn't even make it through.
I legit almost fell asleep.
Full watch. I actually did fall asleep.
Oh wow!
And
I didn't watch the whole thing either.
I never went back to it. I still haven't seen all of Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. I keep falling asleep.
Lucky bastard, you.
Yeah, it's not.
Actually, that was probably the least worst of the bunch this last year, to be honest with you. Outside of the Guardian special, that was probably the most watchable one. It wasn't really fun, but it at least has a ABC storyline that's not completely stupid. Right. I mean, it makes sense at least, and you're like, all right.
Yeah. This one's confusing. Captain America, red, white, and black. So
that's gonna be the red, white, and black. Oh, is that not on the nose?
Well, red, white, and black was actually a title once considered. It might have been once considered for Captain America: New World Order. However, they can potentially have very different meanings. So there's a good chance that red, white, and black refers to the MCU's original super soldier. I didn't know this one existed. Asaya Bradley. I never even knew about this character. That's a thing, Asaya Bradley?
I don't know anything about it either.
Apparently that's the original. So Steve Rogers. Is this them retroactively changing stuff?
Yeah.
I bet it is.
Because I've never heard of this shit before.
Yeah.
God damn it. I mean, I'm saying retroactively because this looks like a new piece of artwork, not an old piece.
And I collected and read comics growing up. And then I never heard of any of this right here.
Any way, shape, or form they can.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. We love BLM. The original super soldier was actually black. All right, guys, calm down. Like, the virtue signaling is strong here, I guess. And then Avengers Academy.
This doesn't surprise me. We've been hearing about a project like this for how long now? Basically like a Young Avengers. Yeah.
I think it sounds lame.
This is the MCU in full force. Lame. Yeah, sorry, Nick. Yeah. Go ahead, Nick.
Oh, I was just saying, the Young Avengers with all the little girl kitty characters that'll be at the forefront of the whole thing, which I have absolutely no interest in seeing.
Yeah, not good. And then again, this is Marvel Studios rumored to be developing more Halloween specials. Because Werewolf by Night, I think, caught a lot of people. I think it caught Marvel by surprise.
I actually liked it.
I think the Disney, the Guardian special did well for him too, from what I heard.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
It good?
Yeah. Okay. Like it's good dumb fun. I had good fun with it.
I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would.
I'll probably watch it.
Best thing at Phase 4. Hands down.
Oh, yeah, hands down best thing so far, yeah.
So apparently, they're looking to do more. This is from Daniel Richtman, but we've been saying we've heard this already. That they're basically doing more specifically Halloween specials as well as specials in general. And they say on a dark and somber night. I know this is actually for Werewolf by Night. Sorry. I don't know if it's got his actual statement. But basically, they're looking to be doing more sort of special elements and stuff, which is fine. Like, sure, whatever. I personally think that's the way to go, but also pulls away from what the MCU really was. Sort of because they're talking about standalone things, which is confusing because then it's not. I don't know, it doesn't really build to the big thing. And then, lastly, on Marvel specifically, Black Panther Wakanda Forever star is convinced that Marvel Studios will recast T'Challa.
I don't know why they didn't do that in the first place.
What was the point?
That makes no motherfucking sense. I almost called bullshit on that report, or they would have done it already.
Well, so this is from Winston Duke, the guy who played M'Baku. But you just and this is so funny. So he goes, "There's no way they'll never remake Black Panther in the future. There's no way that the saga and interpretation of T'Challa, King of Wakanda, will end. He is canon. So trust that it'll come, but allow Black Panther Wakanda Forever to be a human experience of massive consumerism and capitalism. That human experience. Let's make that money." And it's not just that, you also have Derek Bozeman, who was like, yeah, like recast. Like, of course, recast. Chadwick's brother was like happy to do it, happy for them to do it. It's interesting. Doesn't that make it moot? Doesn't that leave them
too little too late now? Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the whole point of this mourn porn of a movie?
Mourn porn.
That's what it was, wasn't it?
It really was, yes.
It's just this like indulgent. It's just It's just all it was. It was just cry for me. Come on, cry, bitch. That's all it was. Just goodness me. Why would you recast after all of that? What's the point?
Cry for me, I'm T'Challa.
Oh,
The
it just renders
truth
it pointless.
is I never left you. They just recast me. I'm someone different. I'm back, I promise. Don't keep your distance.
Yeah, I was in the camp of them just recasting him to begin with after he died the first time.
Yeah, so was I.
You know?
First time.
Well, I was against it at first, and then I talked to some friends of mine who just happened to be black. Okay. And they explained to me, like, no, they understood where I was coming from. They're like, yeah, you could do that. And then that would be a really good way to, you know, pay homage to the character. Because what I said is they should just, you know, have him continue to be alive, but in the background being king. He just doesn't have time to do the Black Panther thing. And then somebody else will come in and take the mantle eventually. But you just have him always in the background doing stuff for the Wakandans in, you know, in a political thing. And they're like, no. You have to have Black Panther. They're like, he has to be there. You just have to recast him. You can't kill him. And they, you know, they went through this whole thing about what it meant to, you know, black men and black children and especially black boys. And, you know, I understood it. That was one of the few times that it really did resonate the way that they wanted this whole thing to do in not a woke way, but in a way that finally men could say, yes, not only do I have something I could share with my son, it's somebody that actually looks like me. You know, or looks like us, or however you want to put it. And in that respect, they explained to me how important of a milestone that movie was to them, especially men, you know, the ones that had kids, and how important it was to their kids and to have somebody to look up to. And they compared it to, like, you know, how kids must have felt when George Reeves died back in the day, you know, and that realization, and they didn't want their kids to have to go through that. They would think it'd be a little easier to explain, you know, the character looking different than trying to go through the whole death mourning thing. And they didn't like that. They didn't like the idea. They were not going to take their kids to the movie. They're like, I'm not taking my kids to a 2-hour funeral. Like, why the fuck should I do that?
That is literally what it was. Worse.
He's like, why would I do that to my kid? Like one of the guys I talked to kind of compared it to, like, when they killed Optimus Prime. He's like, that was traumatic as fuck for me as a kid, he said. Because I can't imagine what that would be like for my kid to go to the theater and see his hero get fucking killed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they killed Optimus, I was just like, what is going on here? And those shows in the 80s always got worse after the movies.
It's this guy I'm talking about. Tim, he's a huge fucking dude. So if you could imagine this big motherfucking black guy going, I was a kid, I saw Optimus die, and I cried like a little baby. I can't do that to my boy. It's like, no fucking way. You've never cried in your life. Unless somebody took away your chicken wings or something like that. He's like, shut the fuck up. And then they said, like, maybe if they were barbecue or something like that.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
No, he's a funny motherfucker, though.
So to follow on from that, Ryan Coogler has basically come out and said, like, why didn't T'Challa die in battle? And you're like, okay,
that's another thing too that bothered him. Yeah,
this would be a great explanation.
Yeah, he kind of went out like a bitch.
He did, yeah. Well, his explanation: just practically, everyone was going to be waiting to see how we dealt with it. So doing it right up front made sense. In terms of the characters, we needed to introduce a different version of Shuri. We're showing the moment that she becomes a different person than the person we met. She's the smartest person in the world, but she can't save her brother. What does that do to you? If someone else would have taken T'Challa out, Shuri would have looked for that person. We wanted it to be a situation where the only place to go was internal. Now, my opinion of that is that's a great explanation, but it also doesn't make any sense in universe when the smartest person in the smartest person there in the world. I mean, just freeze them. You got freezers. You did with the Winter Soldier. Just freeze him. Just freeze him. Just freeze him. Just freeze him, and then you have all the time you want. Just there you go, done. Results straight away. And also, technically, you know, you can still die and she can still be changed. Like, this is just bad writing. You know, to say that, oh, just, you know, it has to be that. You know, it has to be an internal. There are ways to write it as an internal struggle. Like there are, you know, like he could die in battle because Shuri, I don't know, is to blame from a sense of not I don't know, going out when she was asked to, or something along those lines, and he had to go out instead, so she blames herself. There's so many different ways, you know. He came to save her from. She's a fucking princess, right? So like you can have her on a convoy, you know, traveling, and then she get, you know, I mean, it's Africa, for goodness sake, you know, have them set upon by terrorist groups, whatever you want to call it, insurgents, and then, you know, he goes to save her, gets the call, goes to save her, and then boom, died. That's another way to do it. I mean, thoughts?
Well, I never saw the movie, so I can't say anything. But I from what I
within
heard
that
of
first
what the movie was
yeah.
about, what I thought it was going to be about from the trailers and stuff, compared to what I heard it was about, I'm like, that makes absolutely no sense. Because it sounds like they're fighting over the metal shit or whatever it is, the vibranium. And from one perspective, from what some people were explaining to me, it's almost like the Wakandans are kind of like imperialists, or however you want to put it. Like they're assholes, and they're coming in. It's like, okay, it would make more sense if you'd have had like a mistaken, you know, like make it look like, you know, Namor like had killed T'Challa, and it was something completely that was a misunderstanding. Yeah,
do it like I've just said.
Yeah, exactly like you said. And then that way you actually have a reason for them to have conflict. And then in that conflict on Namor's side, he's confused because he didn't kill T'Challa, so he doesn't realize he's being blamed for it. He thinks they're just after their vibranium. There's your setup for, you know, misunderstanding, and that leads to war. And there's a movie, there's a plot. That's what you have. You need that gives motivation. Like,
yeah.
And that's why I hate writing stories in these worlds that, like, whenever I used to have to write or whenever I've come up with stuff, is because you got to remember the rules. Like, you brought up the whole freezing thing. It's like, this is what I hate about these big multiverses starting to cave in on themselves. Because you get to a point where you're just like, okay, so-and-so's fighting somebody. Boy, it'd be great if they could just call somebody up that they know, like one of the Avengers that they have on speed dial on their fucking phone, and could be there in 5 minutes and help them out. You know, like that's what I hate about this kind of shit. It's just so stupid when you sit there and go, well, if you as the audience are thinking of that, that is bad, because the people making this movie had months, almost years, to have thought about that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but also it's the same writer. So it's the writer from the first one to the second one, right? So even in universe, you'd think that they'd be able to, you know, remember what function of, you know, of Wakanda was there before. I mean, they even had the dumbest way to get into Wakanda now that you didn't have before, where you just beat some fucking water bongo drums. That's literally it. And then the force field comes down. I mean, really? Really? Whereas before you just pushed a button and it came down. Now they're like, no, guys, you got to beat water bongos.
Yeah, when I heard that, I was
like,
just
fuck off.
Dumb.
Like how?
That's almost as bad as the code being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, so dumb.
It's amazing. That's the same code I got on my luggage.
So dumb. So I think now, to wrap it up, which I think will be a really interesting thing, and we'll sort of take a look at this at the end of the year, is a look at 2023 domestic box office, right? So, like, what's there to look forward to, basically? Like, what's happening? 2023, a look ahead. So, what films we're looking forward to? We'll sort of look at this list, and then what films we like at the end of the year. You know, I've got high hopes that this podcast stream will still be going. But I thought this would be good. You know, you got 33 tent poles, $9 billion. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at what's out. I mean, you got Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. I mean, it's not even like this. There's even more than this, by the way. But, you know, you've got Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Looking forward to that or not?
They should title it "Ant-Man will be replaced by the Wasp and a few other women."
Yeah.
I know. Ant-Man will be replaced by his child.
And his child, and yeah.
I like the character.
I like the first movie.
Yeah, the first movie was good. Second one, not so much. I'll probably check this one out. I'm not like super hyped for it at this point in time, but it's not like it would have to get pretty bad word of mouth reviews for me to skip out on this one in the theaters.
The only thing I'll say about this is the first Ant-Man was amazing in 3D. The second one, not like, again, it was the movie and the experience wasn't nearly as fun. I'm not as hopeful for this third one. Because after we watched the trailer on the morning show, everybody had a positive reaction, but me. I'm like, I can see through this. They're going to replace him with his daughter, the Wasp, and Michelle Pfeiffer by the end of the movie. Yeah. And I bet you they kill fucking Hank Pym too. I said, you watch.
Yeah, and maybe he'll die too.
Oh dear. So here we have.
He is getting expensive.
Yeah.
Here we have the bulk of the stuff, right?
There's only a few movies I'm actually looking forward to be honest with you.
I mean, there's a lot here, but not a lot of anything that's actually that good. So, and there's probably more here as well, by the way. This is just a quick overview. So, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yep, definitely looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I think that'll be good. I'm looking forward to it just to see what happens.
It's going to be a good send-off to the Gunverse team. We know a few characters are probably not going to make it through. You can almost bank on, Drax probably getting it. James Gunn's brother's character is probably going to get it.
And Rocket.
Maybe Rocket.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I quite like
Don't care. I know people like it, but I have no interest in it. So I'll let you guys talk on that.
Yeah, I thought the first one. I thought
amazing.
Yeah, I thought the first one was okay. I'm just not a huge fan of the animated stuff. I loved the X-Men, Batman, and Spider-Man animated shows in the 90s. I watched those all the time, but I'm not a huge fan of the new animation stuff. But I mean, I'll probably check it out. I'm not I didn't hate it or against seeing it. I'm just not super excited for it.
Yeah. Okay. The Marvels, I couldn't give a shit about.
Next.
Nope.
Unless Brie Larson gets if Brie Larson gets her baps out, then great, I'm all in. Outside of that, I don't care.
I predict Disney will fortify the box office for that one. That's what I predict.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fortify.
Big time.
Wonka, I think, could be a sleeper hit.
It could, but here's my problem with this.
I heard anything about it. I reckon.
One thing I hated about the Tim Burton Willy Wonka film was that giving Willy Wonka a backstory demystified the character. That's what this movie is a backstory for Wonka.
Well, isn't it him traveling around?
It's technically supposed to be how he enslaved the fucking Oompas. You can say that he rescued them. I say he enslaved them. They're working for food and board. I mean, come on. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. On an alien planet or whatever it is.
Goodness me.
This guy's a mass murderer, folks. Like, he kills kids for a living.
Yeah, under the guise of giving them chocolate and candy.
I mean, he's the ultimate guy in the white van. I mean,
he's the ultimate troll, is what he is. He's
I love the original film. So I have a hard time thinking this is going to be anything worth a shit, but we'll see. I could be wrong. You could be right.
I reckon it'll be a sleeper hit. I reckon. But yeah. We spoke about Ant-Man. The Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and something.
I don't care.
I couldn't give a shit.
I'm sure there's a bunch of middle 30-year-old women that are going to be very interested in that movie.
Do you think they will, though, for this now?
That's the original audience. I mean...
What is this, a sequel? I don't even
yes, our prequel, one of the two. Oh, we got Yellow Flash in the chat. How you doing?
What's up, Yellow Flash?
Nice to have you on.
It's either a prequel or a sequel, and I mean, it's been almost 10 years since the last one?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So like those mid-30 women are the ones who are really original fans. So
I didn't even see all of them. I think I saw the first one and I was like, all right.
Yeah, a long time. I sent you a link, Yellow Flash, if you can jump on. June Part 2.
This is one I'm looking forward to. Yes.
I like the first one. I want to see the second or part whatever. Like it's one movie technically because it's one.
Yeah.
They haven't even completed the story. So like a lot of people's main complaint over the first one was it doesn't feel complete. I'm like, because it's not. Like the story isn't complete. Like it's been
It's only
chopped up.
half.
Like
Yeah.
where
Well,
do
half
you
the
end
book
it? Like,
anyway. Yeah.
yeah. You know, where do you end it? I'm looking forward to it. I think Denis Villeneuve is just such a staggeringly good filmmaker. So I'm keen for this, massively keen.
I know Coach is a huge Dune fan. He's definitely going to be there opening night for this one. I was not a huge fan of the first movie. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. You know, it was just kind of like, okay, you know, for me.
Fair enough.
So like this is another one sort of like the animated Spider-Man. You know, I'll probably check it out at some point, but like I'm not going opening night. I'm not like super hyped for it, you know.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people are. I'm probably in the minority there.
One thing I will say, and the reason why I'm not so quick to going, oh, you're fucking wrong, Nate, on the whole like Wonka thing. Timothy Chalamet has a fucking following like you wouldn't believe.
I know. It's all these twinky
the women want to fix him. Whatever it is that's wrong with him, they want to fix it.
It's so strange. It's so strange. Whatever. Who knows? It's bizarre to me. But yeah,
so you're probably right on that. That's why I didn't like go, oh fuck no, that movie's gonna suck.
Yeah.
No, like no, yeah. There's a legion of women for some reason that love him.
Yeah. Aquaman and the Lost.
Speaking of legions of women.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't give a shit about this film. I didn't really care.
It got moved to December, so I'm surprised they haven't moved it in the order there, but yeah.
I think this is like rated.
Okay.
Like, or I don't know. Honestly, I don't know, but I just through movies.
Yeah.
I don't really care about this.
The DC universe was all Snyder's characters. It's like pretty much dead.
Well, that's the thing now, isn't it? Like, is there any point to go see these movies as a result of that?
There is if you were a fan and you want to say goodbye to these characters one more time, and I think that's how they're going to market them going forward. So I know a lot of people are like, they've made them pointless. They made them pointless. And I'm like, yeah, that is true. But how many more pissed off fans would you have at the end of all this had they not waited to tell us all this stuff?
Yeah.
Right? If they'd waited to say that we're going to reboot all this stuff after The Flash had come out, we had a lot more pissed off people than we do now already.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think this is at least getting people geared up for the idea that this is going to be the last hurrah with this. Because it's still going to be another 2-3 years before we see a James Gunn movie. That's what people aren't even taking into consideration. So, like,
not wrong.
This still has another year or two to play out as far as what they have left over to release. So,
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, there's a pretty big delay now. They'll be announcing stuff in the new year, apparently. Like,
yeah, they're going to get in. I have a feeling we're getting an idea what the Superman's movie is going to be and maybe some other new character. But I think James had hinted the first one out the gate is not going to be a rehab, one of the characters we've had before, basically. So I have a feeling he's going to announce like 2 or 3 different titles. And that's all going to coincide with Zaslav having to do the quarterly meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll want a few things to talk about for that. So I think that'll all come out the same week. So, yeah.
Yeah. Right, so we'll blitz through a bunch just because
I don't think anybody cares about Indiana Jones and the Dick of Destiny.
Indiana Jones 5, I reckon that'll be middling. I don't know whether there's much of a mass appeal anymore. So sure, whatever.
I'm gonna go see it opening night just to review it and see if how much of the rumors were true. See what
I predict it will have a big opening. I think because here's the difference. Indiana Jones does not have the same audience as Star Wars. Yes, there's some crossover, but I would say that Indiana Jones has a similar audience to Top Gun.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Now, unless the word of mouth gets out about the movie being horrible like the last one, which even though the last one did get word out, it still did pretty well. So we'll see. See, I think there's a different audience for this than Star Wars that holds it to different standards. I think. So we'll have to wait and see. It could go either way.
Funny thing is, this last week, I had a girlfriend of mine that I was talking to on the phone. She said that she saw the Indiana Jones trailer in the theaters, And I was like, "Oh,
Hmm.
what'd you think?" She was like, "Oh, it looks like they're gonna completely ruin Indiana Jones
Oh
with this
no.
with this female woman in here." She's like, "I don't need any representation. Like, I want to see
Indiana
a
Jones.
guy. I want to see Indiana Jones." And I was like, "Wow,
Yeah.
okay." And she's not like on YouTube and all that sort of
Well, the
stuff.
normies are starting to catch on to this shit, Nick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Some
Yeah,
of them
yeah,
don't
I
have a
think
name
so.
for it yet, but they know that something's off.
Yeah.
yeah.
So Oppenheimer, 2 hours 30 minutes. Didn't know it was that long. I reckon this would be really well.
I'm
Tenet
kind of
wasn't
looking
a massive
forward to it, to be
success.
honest with you.
I think it's.
I
I'm
don't really know
interested.
anything about
It seems like every other movie Nolan does is good. I didn't like Tenet. I only watched 40 minutes of it, but
I liked Tenet. I thought Tenet was decent.
I've liked almost every other one of his movies. I didn't like the inner space one or whatever the hell it was called, Interstellar.
Interstellar,
It was good until the end. I love Conception, and I love or Inception, not Conception. Conception's a totally different movie, folks.
That's another porn
That's the porn
parody.
version.
Pornhub.
Goodness me. Right, moving on.
Yeah. So it might be interesting, and I like the look of it. Fast X, don't care.
Fast X. They do.
That sounds like an
well.
X-Lax.
But the franchise does really well. So this could
Doesn't
be really
matter.
big.
It's going to do huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know they spent a lot of money on this one, like a lot of money.
Doesn't matter. It'll still do billions.
Doesn't it bring in most of its money from overseas?
Yeah, but
Oh,
that's
yeah,
because they
that's
translate easily. There's not much to have to translate.
My family.
Family.
This one, Transformers: Rise of the Beast.
This is a wild card.
I reckon could do really well because loads of people love the trailer. They're all about it. They think it's back to form. I'm like, I wouldn't trust it, but all right.
Yeah, I heard some
I'm-
things early on that made me kind of too, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait to see what word of mouth is on that one. I think probably.
Shazam again, same.
This is probably going to be the biggest
Same with
disappointment of
Flash.
the year for me with the Shazam deal. That's not even the Flash. What the fuck?
I know. Well, it's Google for you. But the Flash, I don't reckon that would do. It's the same situation. The Flash and
I think it'll do okay, but it all depends.
Mission Impossible though, Dead Reckoning Part 1. I reckon Tom Cruise has got so much good faith with people now. I reckon that'd do really well.
He's been pumping it up so much that I have a feeling, yes, this one will do well. Yeah.
Doing his own stunts and everything. That crazy fucking motorcycle base jump
thing.
Yeah, that was
mad,
insane.
Man.
You know, did it 6 or 9 times or something crazy like that. Golly, man.
I'm going to go on a limb right now and say the Super Mario Brothers movie might be the surprise hit of the year.
I reckon it'll do really well. I really like the look of it.
I think it's going to do
I love it.
quite well.
I
Especially if it's
great.
good. If it's good, it's going to do very well.
I honestly think the Super Mario Bros. Will do mega money.
Yep.
Mega money.
Yep.
People will underestimate that.
500 million easy. 500 million.
Oh, easy. I'm thinking more in the billion 5 range, dude.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Likewise.
I think it's going to blow up.
Easy 500 and then it will cruise way up.
It may even beat Avatar.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think it's going to get a lot of repeat viewing if the movie is good, because you have a fan base for Mario like you wouldn't fucking believe.
Oh yeah,
I know, but don't underestimate the amount of screens that Avatar has booked out.
Don't underestimate what they do with Mario Brothers once people start watching it. Like that's the thing is, I've already seen buzz for. That's the thing. I've seen more buzz for Megan than I did for Avatar. I've seen more buzz for Mario Brothers. I've even seen more buzz for Spider-Verse.
Yeah, true.
To be honest with you.
Cocaine Bear.
That's going to be this. Talk about surprise hits. That's going to be the sleep.
91 minutes as well. Great runtime.
Yeah. That's going to be a hit. It doesn't matter. It didn't cost shit to make. All it's got to do is make what, 30, 40 million, and it's a hit.
I'm definitely going to see it.
Love it. I love it. I'm all about that. Barbie, couldn't give a shit about.
Absolutely watching. Really well. That's a must watch. Barbie.
You know what? I have a feeling that's going to be another surprise hit. I think people are underestimating
for all the
one.
little girls and stuff. Moms will take their daughters. I'm sure it'll probably do fine.
Well, I've heard. Well, look, I do a show with a couple of women on Monday nights. You may be aware of, and these girls were all over this shit because it looks just like their toys. You know what that told me? If they would just do that for boys, they could dick this thing. I have a feeling this movie is going to do well. It's because you're going to have a lot of girls taking their daughters and they're going to go see it again and again and again.
Yeah.
The trailer is fucking clever as hell. I could give a shit
It's funny.
about
It's
Barbie,
funny.
Yeah.
but I laughed my ass off at that fucking trailer. And I gave
I
them
haven't
so
even
many
seen the
props.
trailer.
It's almost shot for. They did a beautiful job of recreating
2001
the
Space
2001 Space Odyssey bit.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Little Mermaid.
Bomb.
That's going to be the one. I wonder, is this going to do? And we were discussing this the other day. Is that going to end up being like Mulan, or is that going to be a Lion King situation? Because we were discussing it's kind of a wild card because it's been getting a lot of flack, but then again, it has the music going for it. And
Well, I reckon it'll be the full trailer that really gives us the idea.
Yeah, I think so.
A lot of people's complaints were, why the fuck is it so dark?
But a lot of people said the same shit about Aladdin, but since Aladdin had the music and stuff like that, I think that's why Aladdin managed to do as well as it did.
Valid point. Blue Beetle, I'm not interested in. However,
don't care.
Dungeons and Dragons, I reckon will do really well.
That actually
I
looks
reckon it would do
pretty
great.
decent.
It can either be as crazy as the last one or it can be good. One or the other.
I think it'll be really good. I will be their opener night for this film.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this
brilliant. It looks good fun. I won't talk about that. No, we won't talk about that in the next scene starts playing. Yeah, so good. So good.
It needs Jeremy Irons, though.
No, mate. This is going to be good. It's so good. I'm really looking forward to it. Dungeons and Dragons are going to do 500 million easy.
If it's good,
oh, yeah, I think so.
Get good word of mouth.
If it's anything like the other one, though, it's fucked.
Oh, it's not like that. Come on. They've learned.
I hope not.
John Wick 4.
I think this is going to do well.
Yeah,
this is a no-brainer right here.
Opening
they go from
strength
to strength, don't they?
To a point. I didn't like 2 and 3 as much as the first one, but
you can't beat the first one. It was the best one.
But this one looks like, at least, here's my issue with the last 2 is it felt like at one point I'm like, I feel like I should have my PS controller in my hand because it really was starting to feel like a video game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we need some story here. And finally, at the third act of the third film, the story starts to kick in for the next, setups. So that I'm looking forward to.
Scream 6. I couldn't really care.
Fuck off.
No, don't care.
Didn't really like Scream 5.
I hated
Creed,
Scream 5.
I don't
Scream
really
3.
I'm skipping it.
I loved the second one, but I'm skipping it too, Nick, probably for the same reasons. Why are you skipping
it? Because of Stallone, what they did.
Bingo.
Stallone and
I agree.
I
think there'll be a few people that will do that as well.
If they kill Rocky off screen,
oh god, man,
you are gonna have a backlash like you wouldn't fucking believe.
Oh, it'll be insane. If he's at Rocky's funeral, like at the beginning of the movie,
can you imagine that?
Oh man, like
you would have so many pissed off people
as well.
Yeah,
I would just use his name to create a new franchise, and then we'll fuck him out of it. Like, come on now.
And that would be that would actually explain why Sly is so pissed too.
Yeah,
it would. And he went on that Instagram tirade because they were pretty brutal images.
Well, he said some more about it since. He said he didn't like the direction the script was going, and so maybe after they argued, maybe they killed him, and that's when he got pissed. Like, I think that's what happened.
Yeah,
because when they closed the door on that, I think he's like, "You motherfuckers."
Yeah,
and rightfully so. I don't care how much money he has made off of it. He created that from head to toe. He is Rocky Balboa. There is no fucking Creed without him. I don't give a shit.
Nope.
You are
and after they put it, and I loved Creed 2 because Creed 2 was getting back to form, in my opinion. You had the stakes there, you had the heart there, you put Rocky through hell, but he also triumphed at the end, and so did the whole thing with Creed and Drago's story. It actually had some weight to it.
Yep, and some nostalgia there too thrown in.
It felt like a fucking sequel. Yes.
Yeah, it was awesome. I loved it.
And now they're doing this. What the fuck? But anyway, Craven, it might be all right.
I can't see it doing massively well. Like Morbius, you got to compare it to Morbius, right? It's a spin-off film.
Who's Craven?
I am sure Rothman is not going to let them go crazy like they did with Morbius, though. I bet you he has slashed the budget. I bet you it's going to be very grounded in comparison.
Who knows?
I wonder if it'll even be only subtly tied to things. So we'll see.
Well, one thing which is definitely not grounded: Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Oh,
I cannot
bother.
wait for. I'm really looking forward to that. I think that's gonna be great. Like shit, but great.
I think the movie we're missing here is Winnie the Pooh is Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the follow-up. Winnie the Pooh,
sequel.
Cocaine Bear, Boogaloo.
I really loved honey, but cocaine does give me a bit more of a kick.
This, I had the inside scoop on 65.
I'd never heard of it.
People keep asking about this. This is supposed to be pretty good. It's got dinosaurs in it, doesn't it?
It's a modern remake of Planet of Dinosaurs.
Huh.
Okay.
Interesting.
I love it. I love the sound of it. I'm like, it's an art. Well, we don't know what the rating is, but it's a actual scary dinosaur. From what they've presented, it's a scary dinosaur film with sci-fi elements. Who doesn't want that?
I'm
Sounds interesting.
And Adam Driver, again, talk about weird fandoms. Don't ever underestimate the fans of Adam Driver. Oh my God, he has a huge.
He is good in anything but Star Wars, from what I've seen.
Yeah, no, he's a great actor.
God, every time
great
I see
story as well, because he was an excellent
Kylo Ren.
He was even really good in that Spike Lee movie. The Black Klansman one.
He's good. I think this is gonna be great. I'll be there opening night.
Or wait, am I thinking of a different movie? I think I may be thinking of a different movie. Or is he in that one? Okay, that's what I was thinking of. Okay, yeah.
But I mean, I'll be there opening night. I'm really looking forward to 65. I think it's gonna be great. They've removed out. Basically, there was like a 3-legged Triceratops that was sort of like a cutesy bit of kiddie stuff. They've cut that completely from. Ankylosaurus, sorry, they've cut that completely from the movie. So they've made it more gritty and more adult. And I think it, like, the trailer shows it. It's really banging. Love it. Really, really cool. Happy. I think it's gonna be good. I'll be there opening night. They released the trailer to this recently, Knock at the Cabin, which is M. Night Shyamalan doing an adaptation of an already established story, which I think is not the first time, because he did it with Old, didn't he?
Yeah.
I quite like the look of this from the trailer. I was quite keen on it. I don't know if you've seen the trailer.
I don't know anything about it.
No, I avoided it because I heard it was his new movie. I didn't know it was. He didn't write it though. That already ups the chances of it being better.
Exactly right. So the thing is that it's a group of people come to a cabin and they take everyone hostage, and they say you've got to choose one of you to die. It will prevent the apocalypse. And then they start showing elements of the apocalypse happening. And basically, it's this sort of grandiose sort of, I don't know, it just looks really fucked up. Like it looks kind of
sounds almost like a Stephen King story.
yeah. Well, the thing is like I really like Dave Bautista as an actor when he actually acts, because he can.
Well, he's gotten better.
Act. Well, mate, like what the trailer to this, he looked really. Performance-wise, looked really good. I was sold. I think it looks good.
Well, let's look at it this way. I mean, I think James Gunn admitted it, or somebody had brought up that they had to basically cut around his performance in the first Guardians movie. He is carrying, along with what's her face, the Mantis chick, the Christmas story. He has come a long way. I'll give him a chance.
He did really well in Blade Runner. There was. He
was pretty good in that, considering.
But there was also a short story that he was in. He was really good in that as well.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they did these like short movies before. But whatever. Evil Dead Rise. I'll watch it.
I'll watch it, but I'm not sure
massively amped for it. But I'll watch it.
Yeah, same.
The Meg 2, The Trench.
I liked the first one more than I should have.
It looks like a mix between the Meg and Sharknado.
Yeah, well, it does with that picture, doesn't it? Like
that first movie, I tell you, I was expecting to fucking hate it, and I ended more than I thought I would. So
fun.
I might enjoy this one, maybe. Renfield, I'm kind of looking forward to.
I'm really looking forward to Renfield. Nicolas Cage played Dracula. Yes, mate.
Well, this is like one of the first straight up comedies we've had in how long?
But it's also rated R. It's an R-rated film.
Well, yeah,
so but
it's
straight up rated R.
What I mean.
We're not messing around. Just going for it balls to the wall. I'm keen for that. The Exorcist, I'm not keen for because it's
This
David
I have a
Green.
million questions.
Well, it's David Gordon Green, and he just fucked up Halloween. So I don't
there's
really
that,
care.
but also they're bringing back what's her face, not the mother. I just forgot her name.
God, I don't know.
Oh, is this a sequel?
Yes,
The original
trilogy.
And they're not bringing back Linda Blair. They didn't even ask her to be a part of it. I'm like, okay, that makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
Huh.
Well, it's a trilogy as well. He just fucked up Halloween. I don't care about it. So
I'm not. I have less hope for this than I did before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Expendables 4, sure.
I don't care about.
I'll probably check it out.
Sure,
just
it
to
can't
support,
be no worse than the other ones, right?
Just to support Sylvester Stallone, just because I'm a fan.
That's true. That is true.
Ellen Bernstein, that's who's back for The Exorcist. That's what I was trying to think of. Don't get me started on this one. We'll be here all night.
Okay, just condense.
Is this animated or is this?
This is the animated one from fucking Seth Rogen.
Oh God! Oh
yeah!
Count me out already.
And the pitch already is we're gonna key. It's gonna be a reimagining, of course.
And that's they're gonna cuss and stuff.
No, left of center. Well, I doubt that, but left of center was the other thing they said, and they're really going to key in on the teenage aspect because no one ever has before. Oh, you mean all but one of the versions previous to this? Like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Is like, oh, we're going to key in on the teenage aspect. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, count me out.
Before I have an aneurysm, let's just move on from that because that sounds terrible. Equalizer 3.
I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah, I like Denzel. I like the other ones. They were all right.
Yeah, they're non-offensive, are they? They're just.
I really like the first one. I vaguely remember the second one. So,
Star Trek 4.
That ain't happening. I don't even know why that's even on there.
Yeah,
well,
I was getting ready to say, is that even?
It's still on the release schedule.
No, it is not happening.
It's still on the release
schedule.
It's not happening. But it won't be happening.
It hasn't been shooting.
No, they lost everyone. Rebel Moon, I don't care about.
That's that Zack Snyder thing, yeah.
I don't
know. I mean, but it's Zack Snyder for Netflix as well. So
it was supposed to be his Star Wars project. Is the only reason it's even remotely interesting.
Oh, I heard some potential good things about that. About that movie. Yeah, if it's the same one I'm thinking of,
this is the deal Snyder, he supposedly pitched to Lucasfilm and they turned it down. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Well, that's not
I might be interested in that. I'll probably I don't really know anything about it. I'll probably wait and see some more trailers, see what's.
But the thing is, you'll be watching it for free because it'll be on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Oh,
who cares? I mean, I'll watch it, but I'm not excited.
Yeah.
About it, Elemental.
No.
This image here.
It's getting to a point where Pixar and Disney are almost becoming a parody of themselves.
Yeah. It just looks like what was that one where they're inside?
Inside Out. That's what I was thinking. Like, yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't know.
It's like they're almost becoming a fucking parody of themselves at this point.
So I don't care about that. Haunted Mansion.
The first one didn't work. Why would this one?
Yeah, no.
But one thing, I watched the trailer to this just before the stream. The Plane. I'm keen for it. I watched the trailer.
In it? I never heard of it.
It's God, I can't remember. Gerard Butler and the guy who played Luke Cage.
I was gonna say that's what it looks like there. Okay.
It looks. Look, I'm not gonna say it looks like a good film. Okay.
Is this where they are in the plane crash?
Yeah. So they're in a plane crash, and there's like insurgents and stuff, and then it goes balls to the wall. They've got to go save them, and it just looks like.
It looks like a fun popcorn movie.
Yeah, a beer flick. I call it beer flicks. Popcorn flicks, beer flicks.
Yeah.
A movie you can watch with your mates, right? So I call it a beer flick because you watch it with like guy mates. Have a few beers, chat shit during it, and you're like, wow, look at that blood. And there's a lot of blood in the trailer. A lot of blood. Yeah. So it just looks like dumb fun.
Yeah, yep.
I'm keen for that because it just looks like dumb fun. Peter Pan and Wendy.
Didn't we already get that? Wasn't that called Hook?
No idea.
Yeah, it's just probably their version of their live action one. Who cares?
Yeah. Infinity Pool. I like the look of this.
I don't know anything about it.
This,
yeah, I never heard
on the channel. Where me and Paulie spoke about it. He actually couldn't make it today, guys. He's traveling, so cheers, Paul. Never mind. But yeah, this looks good. This is Brandon Cronenberg. So I'm keen for it. It looks cool. Skarsgård, Mia Goth. I'm keen.
Which Skarsgård?
Northman Skarsgård.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
The Nun 2.
Haven't they had 2 or 3 of those already?
Yeah, I was getting ready to say
No
feels
idea.
like that already came out.
You know what? But like, fine. The Conjuring franchise is the one that nobody remembers when we talk about successful franchises.
They make so much money.
They're huge, huge.
Not that they,
I'm not surprised.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll sort of blitz through some of these.
Okay, then this one is interesting. This is Joaquin Phoenix, though. I'm trying to remember who's directing it, though.
Wasn't Johnny Depp?
Because this is Ridley Scott, isn't it? This is
I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it's Ridley Scott and Joaquin Phoenix playing Napoleon.
Oh well, Joaquin Phoenix. I always like his performances. So
yeah, he actually has 2 movies coming up. We already had one with Michael J. Fox.
Yep. I'll stick to the original.
This is this is a movie of the TV show though, so it's like a reunion movie or whatever you call them.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Never heard of it.
Not heard of it.
Don't know anything about it.
Asteroid City.
Never heard of it. You People. No, Jonah Hill. Already have.
I quite like. I'm keen for Jonah Hill sometimes. I think he's
sometimes it depends on the role.
You people. Yeah. What do you mean, you people?
Oh,
Nicolas Cage in a Western. Okay,
I'm sold on that already.
So I'm sold. That actually might be interesting.
I like the title too. The title already intrigues me. So
the old way.
I can see it writing itself.
Yeah,
and 90 minutes. It's a 90-minute movie.
He came into town. It was full of bad people. He can only take them out the old way.
Yeah, by killing them.
I'm keen for a quick popcorn flick, a 90-minute popcorn flick.
Don't make me kill people again.
I like a good Western.
I don't like to kill people.
Don't know anything about this. A good person is Florence Pugh and Morgan Freeman. Don't know anything about that.
No, not a thing.
The red one. That's
I predict it'll make about $300 million. That's what I predict.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Because that's what every rock movie makes.
Operation Fortune is the
I don't know anything about
who
that.
Who directed this one? This is Guy Ritchie, I think, this film.
Oh, is it?
But it's also got, if this is the one I remember, it's also got the actor who does Homelander. He's in this as well. I'm pretty certain. So I think that'll do okay, but I don't really, without knowing too much about it, who cares? But it says trailer. Maybe I'm wrong. I swear this was that one. Extraction 2. I'm keen for that. I like the first one. Love the first one. In fact,
yeah, really I like the first one. I'll definitely be checking out the second one for sure.
Brutal. Really keen.
Yeah.
Really keen. Never heard of Missing. Don't care.
No.
Maestro?
No, don't know anything about it.
I'm here for this. Legally Blonde 3. I'm down for it, mate. I'm opening night. No, of course not.
Yeah, I'll probably be skipping that one.
And then we're going to descend into films that not really many people have heard of. So, Jung-E.
Never heard of
it. Your Place or Mine. I mean, it looks like a chick flick.
Yeah.
Untitled Adele Lim film. Or kind of. Next Goal Wins. I'm not interested in that. I don't know what this is. Pathan. Is that like a Bollywood film? Yeah, Bollywood film. The Killer for Netflix. That's a long ass film, 2 hours 38. That better be good, whatever that is. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Never heard of it. Challengers.
Never heard of it.
Spinning Gold.
No.
What's that? Is that a Kiss? That looks like Kiss.
It does.
Is that like some weird Kiss biopic?
Maybe about the guy who was like their manager or something, maybe.
Because they're doing a lot of these.
And that looks like, is that Chris Pine?
Music. No. That's not Chris Pine.
It's not Chris Pine? Okay.
No, I don't think so. But they're doing a lot of these music biopics now, aren't they? So, and they're successful. They're doing all right. So maybe that's.
Well, actually, it says it's featuring the music of it, and it has a bunch of them up there, so it must be about something or other. Yeah, maybe it's about Casablanca Records or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Because they were like the leaders in disco music in the late 70s, and they had the like Kiss on their label and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm keen for stuff like that. Well,
I like those kind of movies.
They're fine. Like, I'd switch it on if it was on TV. Sharper, not heard of it. Strays, looks like a.
What was that, a Pixar film?
No, it doesn't look like it, but.
80 for Brady. Don't know anything about that. No hard feelings. Again, this is what I mean. Like, all this stuff is now just.
I didn't see the Scorsese movie on here.
What is Havoc? Is that Tom Hardy? What is Havoc? Look, sure. I mean, there's other films, obviously, because this doesn't even have Megan. This is just
Megan's not even on there.
Overview. But there you go, guys. I mean, a quick rundown. I thought this would be an interesting way because obviously we're, next week is the new year, so I thought this would be a good way to sort of go into, the sort of new year.
They covered the main ones that are coming out this next year.
Yeah. And we have had one more super chat come through from Leiden. It says, "Hi, Miss Station guests. I can't stay, but wanted to wish you and Lord Jasper a very happy new year. Sorry I didn't get to this actually before you left, my dude. That sucks. Sorry. So yeah, if you want to support the channel, super chats are a really good way to do that. And I also will say, please do check out in the description box Miss H Reviews Live Archive, second channel, where all of this stuff is clipped and put together as individual video topics and things like that, so you don't have to stay and watch the whole stream. Please do check out my esteemed guests, Nick from Echo Base Network. His channel's linked down below, along with Tom Connors from Midnight's Edge After Dark, although Midnight's Edge is there as well. But please do check out his sort of baby, Midnight's Edge After Dark, because there is a sort of a distinction there, I guess, in content as well. So check it out.
One's a little bit more edgier than the other.
Yeah. We sing about midgets for Christmas and stuff.
That's one way of putting it.
It's one way you did it. So yeah, I think that about wraps it up. Guys, do you have anything to sort of shout out? What are you guys up to before we end?
I am so Coach has been out of our Deep Space Nine watch through first time reaction. He doesn't have any interest in continuing it, which is crazy to me. But another friend of ours actually has not ever seen it, so I'm going to pick that series back up where we left off on our Echo Base Entertainment channel, and I'm actually skipping Bad Batch season 2. I don't care anything about it. Wow. Coach is going to cover that by himself. I don't care to see a single episode with that stupid Omega character in there, and the crabs and all that. So, and then I don't know what we're doing for our Saturday night stream. We actually might not even have one this Saturday since it's New Year's. So it'll probably. We'll probably pick things back up, next week.
Next week. Yeah, that makes sense. And you, Tom, what are you up to?
Normally I'd have mead tonight, but I haven't heard back from any of my crew yet, so I don't even know if anybody's around or what's going on. So I haven't even set up the stream yet, to be honest with you. I have no idea.
Well, so there might be a mead.
Might be something anyway, but I have no idea.
Yeah, well, so I think this is a good opportunity just to let you guys know. I tweeted it out, but it's important just to let you guys know because you're here as well. I did something I don't normally do. Like, there's always content here. Not that that's going to change, just as an FYI, but it will change slightly. I'm going on vacation. I'm done for like 15 years. So I'm going on vacation. I'm having a break. I'm flying to Thailand on the 12th of January. So very soon. I will be taking a laptop with me. I'll still be doing work. Bring a microphone. Should have a camera built into the laptop anyway. And streaming might might sort of pause briefly, but I'm still going to try and wangle a way of doing it. So, but yeah, just as a heads up, I'm going to Thailand, and there might be. I haven't decided if I'm going to do it yet, but I'd like to, because I mean, I'm going there for the culture, right? Like I want to walk around the temples. There is an area in Thailand where there's like 300-foot Buddha statues, 300-foot Buddha statues. If you can believe it. I mean, that shit's just insane. Like, it sounds absolutely phenomenal to me to see this stuff. Like, I really like culture. I like to see a culture. So there is a strong possibility that I will put together like a feature. I mean, it'll be like a feature, like an hour-long film, basically, of my time in Thailand. So I haven't really decided yet, but I would like to do that. And that'll just go out on the main channel, just as a special one-off thing that you guys can kind of enjoy if you've never been. Not that I'm not going to turn into a channel that does that, FYI. But if I can, and I can bring you guys along with me by making something that you guys can enjoy, then why not? I mean, I'm there. I might as well.
That'd be a cool little journey to watch.
Well, I've got the equipment, so it won't take me anything but my time, which, you know, if you guys would enjoy it, I'm happy to do it. As long as it doesn't interfere with my, my enjoyment, I'd like to do it. So basically, I'll bugger off on the 12th, land there the 13th, and fly back on the 23rd. The 23rd might be difficult for content. You might not get any content on the 23rd because I've got to fly. There's a 7-hour time zone difference, so Thailand is 7 hours ahead. So I fly. It's like a 12-hour flight, but I land the same day, and then I've got to drive 2.5 hours from the airport to go pick up my dog, Jasper, from his doggy vacation. So I might be a bit fucked that day, basically, because then I've got to drive another 2.5 hours home after that.
You're going to be exhausted by the time you get home.
I'll be wrecked. 12-hour flight, 7-hour time zone difference, 5-hour round trip driving.
Yeah, well, we might as well count you out on that day for sure.
Yeah, not cool. So, but just to let you guys know, obviously that might you might get like a video thing, which would be quite cool. And obviously, if content is a bit rocky, that's why. But it will be happening for sure. But from me and everyone else, my guests, Nick, Tom, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Hit subscribe to the second channel and hit subscribe to these lovely people's channels as well. Take care, ladies and gents.